I literally just said that to them. I'll send a text. Okay.
He got in his car, thought about it, and came back.
When he left, I'm like, it's fucking when? What are you talking? It's funny because when I walked in, your bigger chef guy with the
Manny.
He's all, it's not Tuesday. What are you doing here? I was like, fuck, man, I think it's Tuesday.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I was busy.
I just
like
got my
it was a
ass kicked
Tuesday,
at work like it was Tuesday.
Felt like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we are live. Welcome back to the
We Got Five on It
podcast. This is episode 20. I believe it is 20.
Is it really?
I believe so.
Holy shit.
I'm pretty sure last week was 19, and I think we got 20 on deck tonight.
So we've been doing this for like half a year.
That's crazy to
Has
think
it?
about.
Yeah, because
20 weeks and we've missed a few.
But 20 we've missed a few, but we also did some like trial runs.
Yeah, we put in some work
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Probably
I want to say we
8.
started before. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
we're on like 3/4
You know how I know?
of
Because
year.
it was freezing when we first started.
Yeah, it was cold.
I know
it
we
was
were wearing
hoodie season.
sweatshirts.
Yeah.
That is true.
And now we're cold again.
And
You guys saw me
we're
on
back.
on Sunday. It's hoodie season officially.
That's right.
What
That
a
was
comeback, huh?
Unabomber season.
That was amazing. I was so happy.
Yeah, you're a big Jags guy, so Tybo had a great comeback
I wish
win.
the Rams would have
I
came back.
am literally.
Piece of shit.
I'm gonna name my kid Minshew. I don't care if it's a guy or a girl.
Works for both.
Yeah.
First name.
If it's a girl, you can call her Minnie. If it's a guy, you just call him Big Dick Min.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And you
right?
put a fake mustache on him right when he comes out.
Yeah, because I can't grow one. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So you and I are two of 6 left in Cameron's Survivor League.
I
I'm
saw
out.
that.
I'm out.
Who you going this week?
Like I would tell you.
Oh, shoot.
Nah, I'm gonna take the Eagles, which
Who
they're
are they
gonna
playing? Are they playing the Miami Dolphins?
be the Jets. Dolphins have a bye.
Oh, Jets are coming off a bye. Watch out for
I know that scares me too.
Mono Man coming
I
back.
know. But if you look at the rest of the matchups, it's not very good.
I already made my pick. I went
Me too.
Eagles as well.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
it's a
I hope
good
both
pick.
you guys lose.
I hope I win.
If I lose,
Actually-
if I lose, it'll be because Philly could suck my balls, and they would be the downfall of me.
Shout out Cough.
There's going to be at least two guys that are listening to this that are going to know both of your picks that are both left in there.
I don't think it really
Who?
matters.
Who else is left?
Mike's in there, and my neighbor Justin's in there.
Damn.
I don't think
Yeah.
it makes that big of a difference to know. Like,
No.
'cause
It
you-
kind of does because you can. Well, it didn't help me last week because everybody's like, "Oh, I'll take the Chargers." I'm going to
Exactly.
not take the Chargers so that way I can make it to the next week. Yeah, I fucking lost.
Yeah, but it's really. I mean,
Fuck
maybe
you, Jared Goff, you piece of shit.
Maybe now more so because it's down to 6. But before, I mean, you just got to win. So
I looked at the matchups. If someone wants to take a different game, by all means, man.
there's
Yeah.
some other safe picks.
I don't think so.
I didn't even look.
Well, I guess it depends on who you have left.
I'm too upset.
That's
Like
True.
I have the Patriots left.
See, I don't.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, they're pretty much always a safe pick. But anyways, all right. Official episode 20. As always, tell a friend. I think that's the best way to get the name out. Tell a friend. If you have any ideas, reach out to us on Instagram for
This is
topics.
this one's a listener idea.
Yeah,
My
it
sister.
is. It is.
Yeah.
And yeah, reach out to us on Instagram if you want to be a guest and you think you bring something to the table.
Bring the heat.
Bring it, but you better bring it.
We screen everybody, just so you know.
Oh yeah, there's a questionnaire. We come to your house.
Drug test.
But the screening is very limited because coffee was on twice.
Yeah, we just got to drink with you at least once before. I think is probably.
Our
the
drug
extent of
test is
that.
pretty lax, so you just drink the piss and we go, is he clean? I think so.
It's like
I don't need a test to tell you that I do drugs.
Yeah, I think he's clean.
It's like Balco man up in here. A-Rod 2.0, 3.0. All right, we got some rowdy National fans in here.
Yes, they're going wild.
Pretty
Congratulations to the Nationals.
Playoff baseball is back.
First team to lose to the Dodgers. Congrats.
Yeah. Dodgers, I love
Yeah,
playoff
they'll
baseball.
choke.
It's a great time of year right now. Anyways, let's jump into it. So this week, our topic is the top 5 conspiracy theories. Now, we left it a little bit broad because we might talk about some that we personally hope are true, ones that we think are true. We can go a lot of different ways with this. So we kind of, I mean, when you talk about conspiracy theories, if you want to keep it as broad as possible and let the mind wander. So I think that's what we're going to do.
I like this.
So Cam,
Yeah.
you are going to lead it off.
Leading off. Brought to you this week by White Claw. Just because I love White Claw, and I'm hoping it gets me tuned up enough to talk about some crazy shit tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a couple sluggers in me.
I have we'll talk about those later. I'll just go to my number 5. Like Rybo said, these aren't ones that necessarily I would like to be true or even have enough knowledge to think, but these are some that are just kind of a little bit wild, that Like my number 5, I don't want to be true, but I think it could be 9/11 inside job, or at least they knew something, or the building's falling perfectly. There's a lot of sketchy shit going on there. There's no airplane parts that hit the Pentagon. It's a lot of shit going on there.
Yep.
Number 4, the Illuminati. This is one that I actually kind of believe. I do think that there's people playing puppets with our whole entire, I don't know, species, I guess, or, I mean, more or less there's, eyes wide shut parties going on where they're just fucking picking who's going to be famous and this and that, and they get, who knows what's going on. Number 3, this is a personal pick because I love it and I want it to be real so bad. Bigfoot. I've seen all the documentaries. I've seen all the guys hunting for it. None of them are compelling at all. But the Pacific Northwest is very dense, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could be real.
When you said I've seen the shows, I thought you were going to say I've seen Bigfoot.
I've seen Bigfoot twice.
I was like, dude, get a picture.
He lives in Wildemar.
I've seen
Better
Harry
than
and
Zach- or
I've seen
not
Harry and the
Zachary.
Hendersons at least 10 times. And number 2, I want this to be true also. All of the crazy rock formations, Stonehenge, Easter Island, pyramids, this and that, I want those to be aliens. And I think they're aliens. But
Okay.
I want them to be aliens. There's a lot of other rock formations, South America, this and that. There's a lot of ones that I think are unexplainable without the technology of aliens. So you heard it here first, they're aliens. Or you heard it on Ancient Aliens. And my number 1, and I do think this is true, God. I don't think that, I do understand why people could say it's a social construct of controlling people. I understand that. My personal views are different, which is, I don't have any issues with anybody who thinks anything different because nobody knows with 100%. So, up for interpretation.
I have such a problem with that pick, Cameron.
That's because you're an asshole. Yeah, that's my top 5. I'm sure we're going to get into a couple of them.
Poetic justice.
Yeah.
All right. Good list. All right, my list is brought to you by the Kylie skincare line. I'm very familiar with it. Used a couple of the products, and
It's working well.
Big fan. I
You're
appreciate
glowing.
that out of you.
You're glowing.
3 years younger, right?
You're not pregnant, are you?
I don't know.
Maybe we
I'll have
had
to check.
Yeah.
I'll check later.
Okay.
All right. Number 5 is the Cal Ripken conspiracy theory. This is one that I want to be true. Just a quick rundown of this. Basically, so Cal Ripken has a record for the most consecutive games played in the MLB. Legend has it that his good buddy Kevin Costner was over at his house one night, spending the night, and Cal walked in on Kevin Costner and Cal's wife having sex,
Nice.
and they got into a scuffle. Cal was a little shooken up, couldn't make the night game, and conveniently there was a blackout that night in the game, preserving his Iron Man streak of 2,000 some
You
odd
mean like
games.
a power outage blackout?
There was no lights at the stadium, so they could not play
Wow,
the game.
I'd never heard that. That's pretty wild. Fuck you, Kevin Costner.
I looked into it a little bit. I don't think it's true, but it's one I really, really want to be true because that's just
God, that'd be
so
awesome.
salacious,
That
man.
would be so awesome.
right. Number
Wait, let me. Okay,
No,
go
go
ahead. It is true that Kevin Costner banged his wife, though. Is that a fact, or is that?
I think that's the part that's in question. It is true there was a blackout,
Yeah, that's undebatable.
and they skipped a game. So
Oh, so I thought you were saying the blackout was like staged.
honestly, what I really thought happened. Well, we'll get into it. We'll
yeah,
get into that.
yeah.
Number 4, just to throw a little spice in my list, is that Khloe Kardashian, hence my sponsor, is actually the daughter of O.J. Simpson.
Yep.
This is one I also want to be true. I don't really care all that much about it, but I just think, wow, what a plot twist that would be. But then it's like,
Can we just get a DNA test?
yeah, you'd sit. Well, they did like a test that basically proved that her mom was her mom, but nothing
That's
with
half the battle.
her and O.J. You know.
Well, then what's the point of the?
We need a
fucking
Jerry
test?
Springer with the Kardashians, and now that the
just
juice
get the
is
blood
out,
off. Just get the blood off the dead
off
bodies.
the glove, yeah.
I'm more of a Maury guy, personally, but
Maury's
Springer
very
would be
calm.
That baby don't look like
good.
me.
You are not the father.
Yeah, and I want OJ up there and Chloe and all whatever the other
The
names.
dad died, right?
Yeah,
No,
The
oh,
where?
he died.
he had
He
cancer.
had cancer.
Oh,
He couldn't afford the cure.
Guess not.
But anyways,
Great segue.
once again, one I don't really care all that much about, honestly, but I
fun.
just think
It's fun to
there's
think about.
so many angles to it, you know? Like, there's a legal angle, there's a social, there's a lot to it. Number 3, this is one that I think, as far as conspiracy theories go, is true. Like a new world order. A little bit different than the Illuminati, I think. I mean, if you're fine-tuning, basically, there's a group of people that run the world. And even though on the public side they may act like they're enemies, they're really not. They all have the same agenda, and they work together to make it happen.
I
Yep,
agree.
I agree.
Number 2 is AIDS / Magic Johnson. By the way, shout out Buck Taylor to a few of these
I was gonna
picks.
say that's gonna be
Yeah.
half my sponsor.
Well, he opened my eyes to these, and then I researched them some more, to some of these, to the Cal Ripken one and the AIDS one. 2 sides of the AIDS is, one, the propaganda of pushing it to, like, basically oppress the gay culture. So there's that, and then I think that got so out of hand where people were afraid to sit on toilet seats and, like, thought that they could get AIDS from water fountains and things like that. So they pretended to give Magic Johnson AIDS. Magic Johnson does not really have AIDS because his wife, Cookie Muffin, whatever her name is, does not have AIDS. That's
Well,
one
and
argument
also,
for it.
he never lost a pound.
No, he's a healthy guy.
He probably lost a pound.
I mean, maybe one.
I'm gonna say, have you never lost a pound?
I saw Matthew McConaughey in the movie lose like fucking.
Well, what's crazy is, like, you think about it. So that was in the 80s when he came out with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could understand it now because it's been around for so long, if you will, that, like, if a guy has money, he could properly take care of himself. But it went from, like, epidemic hysteria to
Everyone dies.
this guy's fine and could actually come back and play in an all-star game.
I think he just slept on a bed of
I
money.
like that. Well,
Thought he ate
but
baby
I'm just saying,
fetuses.
like, if there was even, like, a
No
glimmer
South
of
Park people here, obviously.
Yeah, I have
That's
no
why I
idea.
said they ate the baby fetuses. Doesn't he eat them in that?
No, that's that is the one with the guy who plays Superman,
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Oh, Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
But
yeah.
that goes to
Then he actually becomes Superman.
that
from
goes to the
eating
conspiracy
fetuses.
theory of, like, it went from, like, you will die from this. There's not even a way to manage it. To, let's give it to this guy and he's going to be completely fine. Like, I know he had a lot of money, but I mean, there was a quick 180 on that.
I don't know. I saw Milk, and that guy died.
No, was that Milk?
Yeah, but
I never
he
saw
wasn't.
that.
He
Oh, it was
wasn't-
Sean Penn.
Yeah. Didn't he die?
I don't know. I never saw him. I
I never
saw
seen it.
Dallas Buyers Club. And
That's a
he,
great movie.
And he fucking yeah.
I haven't seen Milk, but I think once again
I don't
plays
even drink milk,
plays
let
into
alone
that,
watch a movie.
that conspiracy theory because you give it to the most prominent African American. So
Plus, you give him an astronomical amount of money
right, they
to
may have
own
paid
every
him.
Starbucks in California, basically.
Yeah.
And go, hey, you just have to give up on basketball. No big deal. You're
Yeah.
already a champion. You're good to go.
Just wear this for a
Just
little
wear,
bit,
just hold.
and then in the 2000s
yeah,
you'll make a
be the
comeback.
Martin Luther King of AIDS.
There's kind of a lot, exactly.
Okay.
Kind of a lot to it.
Okay.
Number 1, this is one that I believe to be true. I believe that there is a cure for cancer. And if you don't believe that there's a cure for cancer, I at least believe that they maybe not know 100%, but know for the most part what causes cancer, and they're not doing anything to stop it.
Well, they're
Okay.
preservatives.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot. They just
Yeah.
came out this week that Zantac, the heartburn medicine, has a link to cancer, and a lot of places are pulling it off their shelves. CVS, Walmart, places like that. And I don't know. I mean, there's stories about doctors dying. I don't really like going down that rabbit hole too much, just because you don't know what to believe. I mean, we're talking about conspiracy theories, so we don't know what the fuck to believe on any of this stuff. But I just gotta believe that there is a cure, or at least better treatment than is out there. And the reason why it's being withheld is because 2 reasons:
Sick
one,
people make more
population
money.
control, and 2, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh yeah,
So that's my list.
All
like
right.
it.
All right.
I like it.
So my top 5 is a co-sponsor. Number 1, Buck had some great suggestions.
Yeah, I did.
Every week listener, shout out Buck. I love you.
Buck doesn't send me any information. He just sends me dick pics all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, stay warm, Buck. You're coming into your cold season over there. Kansas.
And my second is Michigan football, because that's one of the biggest conspiracies in college football, is that they're actually good. They're not. They suck. So my number 5
Do you own anything that's blue or yellow?
I literally,
Bless you.
Thank you.
I do own a lot of blue stuff because when we were owned by Adidas, they
Adidas
literally
navy
only
blue.
came out with like blue stuff
Yeah,
for
but
some
I,
reason.
I look good in navy blue. I wear a lot of navy blue
I look
shirts.
great.
I wear a lot of blue
I look
too.
great in blue. I'm more of a pastel guy myself,
Yeah.
but I do own blue. I will never wear it during Michigan week because fuck them.
You just don't want the tie. That makes sense.
No, kids would get beat up on campus if you wore blue during
Really?
Michigan week. Yeah.
Bullies.
Yeah.
How dumb do you get? You can't be doing that.
Yeah, don't be a fucking idiot. My number 5, which would have been my number 1 if not for Cameron, is that God is real. I think that's a conspiracy. I think it is put way too much money in people that are corrupt's pockets, and that is the biggest conspiracy of it all. I'm not going to go as far to say that. I know I just said that he's not real, but I'm going to retract
You don't
that a
know
little
one
bit.
way or the other.
No one knows one way or the other, and to act like you do, you are prolonging a conspiracy that no one can for sure say. My number 4, don't buy an Alexa. Don't put a little piece of tape over your iPhone when you jerk off. The phone
No
and the
chance.
government is always watching. They are always watching. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
I can envision Tybo with like 3 rolls of duct tape underneath his bed, just like tight.
Dude, if the
taping up
government wants to watch me whack off, you fucking more than welcome.
Yeah, you're gonna have to zoom in to see it either way.
Yeah,
So.
go ahead, do your thing.
Number 3, Throwback Thursday. And what I mean by that is that was manufactured by corporations to get a better understanding of who you are when you were younger and get additional information on what you look like.
That's wild, Tybo.
I love it. I believe it's real.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Throwback Thursday.
I've never heard that.
Throwback Thursday.
I don't know what that is.
Throwback Thursday is the thing on Instagram. Hey, we're having fun, right? So
No, it's great, it's great.
Throwback Thursday is a thing on Instagram where you post older pictures of yourself. Now, Throwback Thursday is basically, hey, I took a trip a week ago. Throwback Thursday.
Oh, you mean you would post like a picture of you as a kid?
It's
A
a
past
throwback.
picture.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
But it kind of ties in my number 4.
They're watching. Yeah.
They're
Okay.
watching you, bro. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
If I wore a fucking Ruka shirt in 3rd grade, next thing I know, Throwback Thursday, post a little picture of myself. Hey, dude, you should go to fucking Billabong or to Ruka.
Oh, I believe in
Send
that
it,
shit.
send it to me because I have like every rookie shirt there is.
So
I used to love
that's.
Ruka.
I was kind of having fun with that pick, but I could see how that could potentially be a real thing.
By
'Cause-
the way, I remember the first time I went shopping for a Ruka shirt. I go into Active. You guys are both familiar with Active. and
Oh,
I'm
hell
like,
yeah.
do you guys have any RVCA shirts?
Oh no.
I had no idea. And
Oh,
then
no.
like got basically laughed out of the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Thanks, active douchebags.
I'm gonna wear Hurley.
Actually, not everyone that works at Active is a douchebag, just some of them. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with
They
that.
probably do. They probably do Throwback Thursday.
I need another beer. This is about to be a really good one. My number 2, Michael Jordan did not retire from baseball. He was basketball, excuse me. He was secretly suspended because of his massive gambling debts. His father was killed by the mob because of those gambling debts. And the NBA did not want the biggest player to ever play in the NBA to be slandered or be marred by scandal and have to be suspended.
I love that pick.
We can go into more later, but
I like it.
that's
You're the one that told me about that pick. I didn't even know that.
I
Was
didn't
a
either.
thing.
I looked into it afterwards too, and
Me
there's
too.
a lot of compelling
I
evidence.
know.
a lot of compelling evidence. Number 1, Michigan's a farce. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 1, aliens. They do exist. If you believe they don't, you're simple-minded. You're a simpleton. Live under a rock like Patrick in SpongeBob. And I mean that's a thing. If you don't believe aliens exist, you probably believe in God and believe that the world revolves around you, and that there's no chance that in the billions, the vast amount of space that exists
Infinity.
in infinity in
And
this.
beyond.
Not if you don't believe there's aliens in this galaxy, well, guess what? There's hundreds
You probably
of
believe in the flat Earth.
thousands of galaxies in the universe. We're not special. Aliens exist. We're not alone. Cue X-Files theme song.
I think we just go aliens right now because I mean we might as well.
Well, my
we
note-
both have it.
Yeah, my note that I have down is I think the best place to start is what specifically does each guy at the table believe about aliens?
I was gonna ask Tybo a question, but I'll do that. Aliens, I do. Let me ask Tybo first because this will kind of transition into mine. I 100% believe there's aliens, and I 100% believe that they did some of the stonework. I believe that they did some crazy shit. I don't know if they're still coming down and visiting us.
I'm not saying they do.
Okay, so that was my question. Do you think they still are like coming around? Like what about the Navy stuff that just came out and they have the videotape of UFOs and like stuff like that, which are, I mean, do you think those are those are like Russian fucking UFOs? Because
So that video came out, and they also, yes, they did say that it's nothing like they'd ever seen before, but they also said that it could have very easily been drones.
yeah,
They said that.
yeah.
They were not fully convinced that it was
Yeah.
alien life form or a UFO.
The only one that I saw that was with like somewhat compelling out of those was the two pilots that were like, this thing was flying against the wind faster than anything we've ever seen, and the drone couldn't do that.
So
that was
that-
the only one. And I listened to the Bob Lazar, which was fucking crazy.
Yeah, Bob Lazar changed my life, even
Yeah.
though I already believed this, but gave me more ammo than I need. Aliens, in my mind, it's probably like the way that. All right, let me back up. The way I think of aliens is the way I think we think of ants. We are just so self-destructing,
Yeah.
so self-destructing as a civilization. Through all mankind, all we're trying to do is wipe each other out. I think aliens or any alien that would want to come in contact with us would be smart enough to know that let's just kind of hover above them
Yeah.
without them knowing.
And just go, nah, not yet. They're not ready.
Ants don't understand that a human is looking at them. They don't understand that. They don't have that capability.
So, sorry. So you think that aliens are a higher level being than us?
I do.
If they are able to get here on this planet without us, quote unquote, knowing, which is a whole nother debate in itself, yeah, because the whole problem with humans and going beyond this universe, beyond this galaxy, beyond all that is the fact that we are not able to. We cannot do it. We don't have the technology. Light speed is something that we cannot even fathom. It's just not even fathomable to a normal person. If aliens are able to transcend that and build something that is capable of going from X to Y, yeah, they're not gonna like look at us and say, "Oh, these are people I want to talk to." This isn't Independence Day. If they
Welcome to Earth.
or maybe it is. Or maybe it is. If they did come down to us, it's either Signs or Independence Day or any other scary alien movie you've ever seen. They're here to take our resources. Why they need it, not really sure. But there is no chance that someone of a higher power, not a higher power, a higher level of intelligence will look down on us if they're able to do the things we're not even close to doing and say, those are people I want to interact with. They might fly to a galaxy we
Far,
don't
far
even far away, and they're like, oh, these guys got their shit together. Yeah, we'll talk to those guys. Like,
So I have a question for you, and this isn't a challenging question. I'm just curious, and I don't necessarily agree with what you think I'm gonna mean when I ask this, but what's the difference, the way you explain aliens, between aliens and quote unquote God? The way you describe them.
so the way God has been described to me, and he's omniscient, omnipresent over the entire everything.
Creator.
He created everything. I'm not saying aliens created everything.
Right. So the big
I
difference
can't-
is the
like the
creator aspect.
Prometheus idea, like where they what is that? They
People don't pray to aliens.
So the big difference.
Some people do.
I don't want to put words
And
in
I
your
think
mouth.
they're a little
but-
crazy
yeah.
too.
So the big difference is the creator aspect, because what
For
you're saying
sure.
is they are a higher power. I mean, let's call that what it is, right?
Not a-
They're-
not a higher power.
Technology. Well,
They're more technologically advanced.
I mean, I think we're
I am
Kinda.
splitting hairs because I have to.
right. No,
I have to.
I understand. I mean,
Well, I'm not totally convinced that they have been here, like Cameron. I'm not totally convinced that it's happened. I'm just saying if they ever did, it wouldn't be captured
Yeah.
because. I mean, our. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, no, you're good. I'm just gonna like tell you like what I believe as far as the alien thing, because it might help with this conversation. I don't really put a lot of weight in like the UFO thing, the sightings, like, because that is so easily fabricated. I think it's almost to the point where it's common sense that there are so many galaxies.
It's too big.
It's so vast that there has to be something. Like
That's
that's
too
almost
big.
common sense.
I would hope so, but most people don't believe that.
Well, I think because most people want to touch, see, feel, and like we have this UFO thing. I feel like the UFO sightings and all that almost play down the part of aliens, and like just stop and think about it. Like we are a blip on the map as
we're
far
not
as
even
Earth.
we're not even a blip.
Dude,
Not
you
like-
have no idea how small we
We're
are.
nothing.
We're a blip of a blip of a blip.
Yeah.
Like, and so
You're
that,
smaller than a grain of sand.
right. So that's my
Mike.
point.
So
like,
can I put it this way? The sun had a solar flare 2 weeks ago. Just a blip on the sun. A solar flare that was bigger than Earth.
Yeah.
Just a solar flare.
Yeah.
Did you get hotter? Did you feel it? No. That's how big the fucking universe is.
Oh,
and when
it's
you look at
crazy.
the sun compared to other megastars, and it,
it's
I'm not
hard
a
to wrap
scienti-
your mind around.
it's impossible. It
Yeah.
is literally impossible to just to understand how big everything and how vastly expansive space is. It is impossible
Well,
to quantify.
I think the reason why I asked that question is because you guys both have God on your list, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But to me, I think there's a chance that thousands and thousands of years ago, there was an understanding of what we're talking about right now. I'm going to call it a higher power, but you know what I mean when I say
yes, yeah.
I was
Um,
just gonna talk about that.
and they just put it into stories. Now, you guys know how I believe in God. I don't believe in religion. I believe that something had to create this. That's all I believe. Other than that, I mean, and I even have an open mind to that. Like, at the end of the day, no one fucking
nobody
knows.
knows.
And if
Nobody
they
can say
tell you
one.
that they do, then they're lying to you, and they're a little delusional. But, I mean, there's a chance that God, quote unquote, what we've all been taught or talked about, is an alien.
Oh yeah.
What?
Or the sun. The sun could be God.
Well, that's
and
what
the moon could be Jesus or Mary. Like, there's so many ways to slice this, and
When-
bottom line, we're not the only thing out there.
when you're an ancient Mayan, and let's say you're growing crops. Weather is good during the seasons that the sun comes out, and weather is bad when it does not and it gets colder. That is your God.
Yeah.
That is what that is.
I mean, rain dances, you worship the sun, all
that stuff. The only thing I'd take from that, though, is when I say God, I say God is. You have to believe in Jesus to believe in God. You have to believe in Moses to believe in some sort of.
Well, you're
reli-
talking about
I
the
think
Christian,
you,
the
yeah, I
Christian
think
God.
you have to believe in Christianity for
the
that.
Christian God.
I said Moses and
Yeah.
Judaism, Allah, Islam,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You have to believe in something before, and Allah is, I get it, but there is an underlying there is a presumption that God has a human-like form, and
At some point.
at some point was one of us.
Yeah.
But in most religions, the only thing once again, we have to split hairs
Except for
here.
Scientology.
Yeah,
You want to
we
believe
have,
those guys,
We have
go
to
for
split
it.
hairs here. The only thing I'm going to say is, like, you don't have to believe in one of those human figures, no matter what religion it is, to believe in God. Most people do, but you don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
Does that make sense?
You
It
don't have
does.
to.
No, it does.
You have to
you don't-
believe in one of those humans to be religious, but to be spiritual, you do not have to. Does that
Agreed.
make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Missy.
Yeah, I'll take another one.
I'm
We're
okay.
getting- We're 30 minutes in, and it's deep, Missy.
Do you
Yes,
believe in
please.
God? Nice.
She's Norwegian, of course she does. Yeah,
Yeah.
Viking God.
Oh, you
That's
kill
strong.
everybody.
That's strong.
I believe in Beowulf. He
If
was
I could be
Norwegian.
one thing, I'd want to be a Viking.
If I like
Fuck yeah.
like when you go back and you see like all of the like the drawings and like the hieroglyphs and
Oh,
stuff like
yeah.
that, and they have like way back from who knows fucking 100,000 years ago, and they have pictures of basically what looked like flying saucers.
Yeah.
I kind of think that they were here a long time ago.
A long time ago, I mean, maybe.
I think no, that's what I'm saying. I think
Maybe.
maybe they were just like
because
like we were
so
interacting.
rudimentary
Yeah, we were.
that
were,
we had no way. They're like, what are these guys going to do?
or
Carve my
maybe they,
shit on a
or maybe,
wall?
or maybe they go.
Go ahead.
Or maybe they go. We're gonna put them on the path to not be this fucking uncivilized.
I think
Has
traffic
that-
traffic got too bad. They had to leave it,
yeah, they're like, has that worked though? Have we become? I mean, obviously we've
Well,
become more.
compared to- yeah.
I understand we've become more
We got
civilized.
fucking cell phones.
The only thing that's different than back then to now is we have the understanding that if we blow each other up, the world's over.
Yeah. Well, no, not. I mean, we have technology and shit like that, but who knows what
You
they
don't
had back?
believe that?
Who
From
knows
a-
what they
from
had
a-
back then?
From a macro level, yes.
Yeah.
but
Guys,
from a
we're
micro-
70 years away from the fucking nuclear standoff with Cuba.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, your point's true, but that's not all that we've
I feel like back in the day,
advanced.
I mean, there was tribes and this and that, and they fucking saw how Stonehenge went up. They saw it. Somebody saw it.
I don't know.
Somebody was either there when it happened, or they did it.
my
It
point.
had to be done. You know what I'm saying?
I have a deep thought. Go ahead, Tybo. And
no,
then I
no,
have a deep thought.
I'm okay with deep thoughts. Go
You
for
know,
it.
like what I'm saying though. Like somebody knew it. Like it wasn't
new, but I think aliens also are. If there are aliens and if they decided to contact us, they would have the understanding of. All right,
Thank you, Missy.
let me phrase this a different way. If they contacted us and literally were nice enough to be like, "Hey, you guys need to lift with that boulder," you don't think they've been back since?
I don't know. That's
Since
what I'm
we've
saying.
had cameras, since we've had any sort of recordable
May-
way.
Maybe now they're just like, fuck it, man. These idiots are gonna blow each other up.
Maybe they found a different Earth.
Yeah.
Or they're busy exploring.
Yeah,
like
maybe they're just
Interstellar.
going. Maybe they're going out and they're progressing other.
I wouldn't be surprised if aliens look like half lizards, half horses.
reptilians.
I'm
and-
Well, you
not-
never know. Yeah.
I'm not saying they look like the fucking big head,
Well, even
big
like
ol' eye kind
even
of
like
guys.
when you listen to like Tyson
Neil
or
deGrasse
you
Tyson.
listen to like guys that talk about it, they go most likely they're not sending their actual form. They're sending like
That's straight
a
South Park.
drone type thing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about?
that's
Like
straight South
like
Park.
even when Bob Lazar talking about the
No, yeah, it's
aircraft that
crazy.
he walked in, he goes, "There's nobody that can fit in that thing."
Nobody.
So they either sent a
That's such a wild.
like a sentient being, or like something that they can control with their mind, and hey, we're because he can live for 1,000,000 years. It's a non-biological thing, and they can control it from wherever they're at, and they send that shit here, and then who knows if what we're seeing is actually an alien? It's probably just a controlled robot, almost.
So
Potentially.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
don't
'cause- yeah,
here's my deep thought, if you will. So I'm with you, like the pyramids, Stonehenge, all
It's
that
weird
stuff.
shit.
Like, there's no way humans could have done that with the technology that they had available to them, in my mind.
Unless you have 1,000,000 slaves,
yeah.
which
But
they did.
even then, to get like a 70-ton block,
Oh, and
Up that
hundreds of
high?
them, and that high, and
I'm saying it is a massive feat, but it could be done with pulleys and
like I've said, Kyle has drawn me a diagram, and he's an engineer, and he thinks that it's doable.
he
But-
thinks it's doable.
He knows it's doable.
Dude, it
but
took
it's just
like it took like fucking 900 guys from the Middle East to build the stadium in Qatar for the fucking World Cup. You're telling me in
it had a floating air conditioning.
thousands of years ago, they're not just gonna murder 2 million
Yeah,
people
they're
just
ro-
to
they're
make
just
a
having
cool
people.
statue?
They're just having people lay down on top of each other and rolling the fucking stone
yeah,
over 'em.
fuck off.
So let's assume.
But they also could have had like mammoths and shit back then.
let's assume
like
that
they could
they.
pull-
Definitely-
Bullshit.
They're definitely not. Well, probably not mammoths. and
Well,
that.
no, something big like an elephant.
Oh,
that can.
yeah.
They know elephants can pull. I mean, like crane type shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's assume that was some type of quote unquote alien
It was.
activity. So if I'm looking at this like from a layer standpoint, as far as Earth being built, okay, so now, like right now, we can't really fathom aliens building anything. Okay, but then
Wait, Earth being built or structures?
I'm talking Earth. Follow me here.
I'm
It's
trying.
like we're building a
Alright, yeah,
pizza.
I'm
We're
listening.
starting with the toppings, then cheese, and the dough. Okay.
Listen.
I'm just thinking. I've never had this thought really, but okay. So right now we're talking about how Stonehenge could have been built by aliens, pyramids, whatever. Okay. Well, what if that? So we see that, we believe it's aliens. What if that's how Earth was created? Meaning, aliens, a higher power, created Half Dome, created the river, created this, created that.
Like a painter fucking painting a.
Like we
yeah.
think that's
Like Bob Ross on a
we-
Saturday morning.
Yeah, I love Bob Ross. Like that's unfathomable to us, but Stonehenge is kind of unfathomable. Pyramids are kind of
Well, it's
that way.
unexplained. It's unexplained right now.
Like
Stonehenge and the
So what-
Stonehenge ones, I mean, I get it. Like, I don't know how you get that top thing on. Dude, it's like fucking 18 bricks.
Or the one with the rocks,
So
the
what I'm
stones that came from an island that.
You're
weren't
telling me you can't
indigenous-
get 1,000 people to push that thing up?
I don't know,
One,
man.
two.
how do you get
You
how
get
do
like
you get 2,000 hands on that?
You get like 6 guys to move a pool
One guy's holding the
pool
other
table,
dude's
man,
butt
it's fucking-
cheeks, and he pushes him while he
Yeah.
pushes.
All right, now you're talking about Magic Johnson. But my point is like, what if they found a planet, they built this up, like we cannot even fathom how they would build a river.
They planted
create
the
that,
seed.
but they did it, and maybe they're doing that somewhere else.
How did they build the people?
God,
No, maybe they
so
set in motion evolution.
yeah, I mean it's very
Maybe they put, we know these organisms over time will.
It's
we
very
know
s-
this little single-celled organism eventually is going to be a fucking person.
it's very similar to Interstellar. The concept of what the Doctor was gonna try to do.
It's more
Okay,
it's
I-
more
I- I'm gonna-
Prometheus than anything.
Dude, I'm a grade A pessimist, but to me, it's just unfathomable, and maybe because I'm not supposed to understand it. I'm okay with saying that.
Oh,
Maybe I'm not supposed to.
we can't. We
No,
can't.
you can't even wrap your
And
head
that's
around
what
it.
and that's what I really don't like is when people try to understand, aka God. Like, oh, we're here for a purpose. He built this for us. No, he didn't build the fucking Walmart for you, dude. Okay, like you're just living your life.
Hi, welcome to Walmart.
But it's unfathomable to me. And again, maybe I'm not supposed to understand it, but that a guy goes, I'm going to make a single-celled organism and know this is going to branch out into hundreds of millions of years of it even being able to be a fish. And then that turning into something else where a fish goes on water and starts to learn how to walk, and that thing takes another 100 millions of years to get legs, and that thing turns into the billions of different types of life that we have on this planet.
I mean, you gotta. I think you.
I don't know.
If you're gonna assume that aliens are real, I think you also have to assume that they're of higher intelligence than us. Because
Oh, yeah.
if
No
they're
doubt.
if they're space traveling, I mean that's way
That's my
ahead of
point.
us, right?
And that's
So-
my point. I'm not supposed to understand.
Right. So, to it's hard to put a floor or a ceiling on their intelligence. So they may have thought that, like, yeah, thousands and thousands of years ago.
We'll be back in 3 million years when you
Yeah.
guys are, you're
blew
fucking
each other up.
cavemen or
Yeah,
whatever
you
it
guys
is.
blew each
Yeah.
blow
other
each
up
other
again.
up a couple times. We're gonna come back, and then when you have the iPhone, we'll be here. Kind of thing.
I have a little spin-off on it.
Oh, it's so wild, man.
How
That's
much?
my
How
mind
much?
is-
They're out there.
How much do you really think the government knows about aliens? Obviously, way more than we do.
I would
But
say
do you
way
think
more.
that?
Way
But do
more
you
than,
think that there's actually been a president, that like knows, like, hey man, they're fucking visiting us. We've been in contact with them.
Okay, can I? I love
No.
your question. Can I
No.
kind of take this in a different,
Yeah,
ask
go
this
ahead.
in a different,
Yeah.
different way? Do you think there's like a book that a president gets of
Oh yeah,
I
deep
think-
briefing.
I
dirty
think-
dark secrets?
I think some of them do.
Did
I
they
bet
give that
Donald
to
Trump they didn't give it
I was
to.
gonna say, did they give it to Trump?
I bet you gave him a shortened version because
he
that
tweets
motherfucker will tweet that
screenshots.
shit out.
Yeah,
we got to give this guy the abridged version. I don't
Yeah.
think he can handle the whole thing.
That's a
Yeah.
disservice to us. They should have gave it to Trump so we can know.
I
Yeah,
think
because he would tell everybody.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Cam, to answer your question, I think you hit the nail on the head. They know more than us, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't know a lot.
Well, even like the
I don't
like the
think.
Bob Lazar thing that like they have that they have those. Those are real things. I believe those are real things. I
I
don't
do
think
too.
there's any reason for him to lie. I mean, he's put his life on the line. He worked on a spacecraft, but he also said that they dug that thing up. He said that didn't crash land. They found that and they dug it up and then they went.
And really, they still don't know a ton about that. Like,
No.
The fact that he's saying that it exists, that's the big, ooh ah.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we don't know a ton of details
Dude,
other
he's-
than it's small or like we don't really. So
Well, no, he knows they have
he-
a propel.
He straight up said that
Yeah,
this
but-
thing created its own gravity.
which is awesome, and that just proves the higher level thinking. But
Yeah.
as far as like real like specifics, we don't know shit.
And
Oh,
he didn't know
Yeah,
shit.
me personally, no.
Well, I mean, just in general. I
Oh
think,
yeah, they had no idea.
Yeah.
Those are some of the brightest minds you could probably get if it's true that he goes, nothing that small creates its own gravity.
And all they do
It's
is
not even possible.
all those guys are doing is working on that. And so I think they do know more, but I don't think we know a ton.
I think they know 100% more than we know. So if you
double.
just doubled what you knew,
yeah, I'd agree with
and
that.
I've seen every single
God,
alien.
I hope they know more than that because I'm dumb as shit.
don't-
Well,
I
I've
don't
seen
think-
all the
no, you're not.
I've seen all the documentaries. I've seen them all, and it's like some of it's compelling, some of it's a fucking joke. But like, if you ever want to get really high and watch Ancient Aliens, it's a lot of fun. But at the same point, they make it out to be crazy because the guy's crazy.
I mean, the whole thing is crazy in the sense of we can't wrap our minds around it, but it's not crazy because it's kind of common sense that it can't just be us.
Okay, so I'm willing to put myself out here and contradict myself, and I'm okay with that
You're an alien?
I thought he was coming out
as an alien.
for Halloween. For Halloween.
I understand I'm setting a double standard by saying I don't believe in God because no one can prove it, and also doing the opposite by saying I believe in aliens because you can't prove it. I'm aware of my hypocrisy.
Are you reading my notes?
Is that what you're saying?
Uh,
I'm aware of the hypocrisy in that. My biggest pushback to that would be is that we as humans, we are one of the few things, the only thing in this universe that we know of that are able to communicate in the way we do, that are sustaining in human life.
Trying to sustain, yeah.
But regardless, whether it's a bird or whatever it is, there's life. We, in my mind, the universe is too expanse for there to not be more.
Yeah.
The God pushback I give back is that, kind of like we talked about earlier, he created this, and he is omniscient, he's omnipotent, he understands what everyone's thinking all the time, he knows what's going on all the time. That's where the pushback is.
I
so
think
before I got that kickback, I just had to put that out there because there's a difference.
I think
don't
your
think
kickback is more on religion than it is on God itself.
Yeah, because I'm not saying God is not real. Yes, thank you
Yeah,
for clarifying.
I think your pushback is on the hypocrisy of religion, which I grew up in religion, and it is
that is
full
part
of
of it.
hypocrisy.
But at the same time, I'm going to be honest with myself and say I deep down I believe there are aliens. Deep down, I'm not willing to say that there is a God or there is a higher power that is overlooking us, that created everything for
Who's to
us.
say that's not aliens?
Maybe they're one and the same. Maybe I'm looking at
Yeah.
it different. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I had to make that clear.
Cam always pees at the hottest
The
moments.
hottest takes,
Like, he
dude.
can't
I've had to
hold
piss
it?
for like 10 minutes.
He can't hold it.
No, dude, I thought he was gonna have something good to say.
Pivotal moment, right?
Jeez and
And he
Christ,
gets
man.
up. We need to get him a fucking bucket.
Sunny
there.
days. Anyways, how was that fucking Nationals game or something? Like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, we can't have this conversation without
good,
Cam.
The good thing is his pees are very quick.
Very quick.
When you get over 40, that's what happens. Is
Dude.
he over 40? How old is he?
No, he's not even close, dude.
No?
I think he's
I don't
only.
know.
I think he's like 32.
30,
Yeah.
32?
Yeah, 32, 33.
I had him at least 38.
Yeah, yeah. God, that was such a bad time to take a piss.
That chick just kind of mad dogged me.
Fuck her.
I mean, I don't think Haley would appreciate that, but I'll invite her over.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that girl that walked by.
I did. And you said fuck her, and I said I don't think Haley will appreciate that.
Oh, I was like, Haley, I wasn't talking about you. I'm sorry.
We were just talking shit on you, Cam.
Yeah,
Why?
that was a terrible time to take a leak.
You always go pee at the hottest moments.
I've had
Yeah,
a
I
piss
had
for
to-
a minute.
I had to go.
I think once he gets it in his mind, he's got to go.
I was just thinking. I was
Your
like,
pees
I
are
don't know
quick.
how you guys don't pee more.
Your peas are
Dude,
quick.
I piss all the time. What are you talking about?
Well, when you're 45, you got to...
I fucking got problems. Yeah.
Okay,
got
so
problems.
I have a point, and this is just my perspective. I'm not saying what you say, Tybo, from what I know of you and what I've heard from you, I think that you do believe in God. Hold on. The way that I personally
I
believe.
wish everybody could see Tybo's face right now.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I was gonna let him make his point, man.
It's like he put a dip in that has been sitting there for 10 years. But
I've done that before.
I personally think that you do believe in God the way that I believe in God.
Okay.
I think you do not believe in religion, and neither do I. But from what you say, I think where it goes sour for you, and I understand because I'm very similar, is the God the way. How old are you?
28.
The way we've been taught for our 27 and 28 years.
Yep.
The creator thing, the I'm above you, the this, the
The
that.
scare tactics.
But the way I look at it is, and this is maybe where we differ a little bit, is like this is too big. Our universe is too big. There's too much going on for it to not. Something had to have happened. Like there had to have been a creator, if you will, and I think that's where we maybe differ a little bit. But there's definitely higher power in some form or another, whether that's an alien, God,
Okay.
whatever it may be. Like, and excuse me, that's the part that I personally believe in. I don't believe you need to go to church. I don't believe in, there's these people that were put on earth for all that. But I do believe that there was some form of a creator. There's some form of a purpose, whether that is aliens that found our planet or a god or whatever it may be. Because the way you describe aliens is kind of how I look at God.
All right, hold on. I hear you. I totally hear you, Rybo.
It's kind of crazy.
So my question is, did a higher power create everything?
No.
So what created the universe?
I can't answer. First question.
If you had a guess.
First question, I don't know. Well, all these questions, I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
But
yeah, totally get it.
I gotta think that there is some type of hierarchy, meaning something had to create whatever started this whole thing. The part that blows my mind that I have no grasp of, and I don't have a grasp of really any of this, but this I actually don't have a grasp of, who created that higher power? Like, where did this all start? It had to start somewhere. But then Stephen Hawking, like his big argument was time didn't exist, so it couldn't have started, because if time doesn't exist, there is no start, there is no finish, there's no middle, there's no
It's a fourth
nothing.
dimension.
It's
a fourth dimension.
It's something that we just cannot comprehend. What I'm willing to accept for me, and maybe the F word gets thrown around, faith, is something above me created this. I am here because something above me put me here. Outside of that, and even that, I don't know. But outside of that, I really don't fucking know.
Okay, without going too deep into religion.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So kind of how you look at aliens is how I look at God.
In a way, because I don't think
It's just a
aliens
different word.
created this.
I think a higher being, a higher power, however you want to say it, higher, I think, is a word that turns you off. So
I don't believe anybody created this. I think this is a happen of chance. I don't think we're special enough to where people said, I'm making this for this end game or for you.
So I have a question. I want to dig a little bit deeper on that while we're here. So I don't know exactly what you believe, but let's just say, like, because it's the most common thing, is like if two rocks exploded and here we are.
Yeah.
Just for hypotheticals, like I'm not saying that's what you believe in, but my thought is, who created the rocks?
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I don't know. But
Right.
just because I don't know doesn't mean I'm going to assume that something created
And that's fair.
those rocks.
And that's fair. But that's
that
where
would be my
that's where I'm at. Like I do not believe in evolution. Evolution is a real thing. We should all get better as time goes on.
I think
Jesus could have
not necessarily to break down what you were trying to say. I think more what you think is similar to what Tybo thinks, but
it's
I
more
think what
similar
you
than
think
not.
is that something got the ball rolling.
Yes,
Something started the ball rolling to us. Whereas Tybo says it's chance. It's chance that's got us to where we are, and you think that
Well-
Somebody, even if it was 100 million years ago, got the ball rolling and said, "This is the direction
But-
that I'm going
but-
to go, and we'll see where it goes."
But even with Tybo's, and I believe a lot in that. Like there is a lot of chance, like to be where we are.
Oh,
But
yeah, you're born- yeah.
My point is Jesus in the stories that we all hear could have been a rock. Jesus could have been a flower, and Mary could have been a bee, or the angels could have been this, could have been that, whatever. My point
I
is,
can't believe you don't smoke pot.
my point is that if we're going to use the rock example, and that's where the origin of us it starts, who created the rock?
Nobody. Mary was a virgin.
But seriously, use whatever
Yeah.
example you want.
I
but-
get what you're saying. I'm
and
just making a
let's
joke.
just go to the. I know it's funny. Let's just take it out to the universe. Who created the universe? That's the part that I believe in
Yeah.
personally. There had to have been a creator. The part that I still can't answer in my own mind is who created the creator. Like it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
But if time doesn't exist, oh man, that's.
What if-
I need another vodka.
What if nothing existed until humans had the comprehension to ask these questions? Maybe that's just the way it was.
Well, I think that's what.
Maybe it's just that's what it is.
I think that's a lot of that answers a lot of the God question. Is it's like we can't fully comprehend it. There's no way we will, so we got to put it into some context where we kind of can.
Yeah, and I'm not fully subscribed to that.
And that's totally fine because that's religion. That's not God. That's religion in my mind. And so
This is a good question for
I've
you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
This is no. I'm just saying I fully subscribe to the creator thing.
If you had to pick one side or the other, would you rather there be a God or there not be a God?
My question to Tybo: do you want this to be true about God?
Yeah.
I've said this a million times. If you held a gun in my head and said, well, there's two aspects to that question. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. So yeah, in that aspect, yeah, I'd hope there's a God because maybe I'll get saved. Maybe I don't,
That's 90% of Christians, by the way.
yeah, maybe I do. But if you ask me with my very extremely limited understanding of physics and all the other shit that goes into the universe, no, I don't. And that's the pessimist in me, and that's what it's not. It's one of my detriments is I'm very pessimistic about a lot of things. But
I think you have.
I don't feel like we're that lucky to, or I do think that we are just lucky to be here and be a part of this. I don't think that this was specially made for us, and I'm not talking about
That wasn't-
us being here with an iPhone. I'm saying that the fact that Earth is a thing, and the fact that all the other things that come with it. I'm not talking about the minute. I get to watch Netflix on my
Yeah.
like. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that maybe it's just we're just lucky. Maybe it's just chance.
I think more like going back to your pessimistic thing. This is, you don't strike me as this kind of person, but when you say things like that, you want other people to be wrong more than you want to be right,
No, okay.
right?
No, I don't want other people to be wrong. The
'Cause,
only
I mean,
people
ideally, if and anyone, I don't give a fuck who you are, you would want God to be real. I mean, other than you're a murderer or you're a shitty person because you're going to go to hell. But why wouldn't you want to be able to see your grandparents? Why wouldn't you want to, have a different an idea of
Of
it?
course, I would. Of course, I'd want that.
Okay, that's what I asked. That's all I asked.
I think Tybo
I'm
is,
taking that question a different way then.
I think
because I don't-
Tybo is turned off by the unrealistic euphoric state.
Absolutely,
I don't want to put
and
words
I mean,
in your mouth, but
no,
am
but
I
I
right?
think,
Am I right?
but I
I
think
think
ideally,
that's
if
a
you
big
gave,
thing
if
that
you gave
turns
that,
you off about it.
if you gave that
And
question to
rightfully
any
so.
single
I
person,
get it.
if you gave that question to any person, I don't give a
Well,
shit
of
who
course
what you.
we
Would I
want
want to
it.
live in paradise for the rest of my life? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Do I want to just be in the dirt? I want to be cremated, but do I want to be in the dirt and have worms eating at me? No, of course not.
No.
Are
Who
we
wants
spreading you
that?
over Augusta? Where are we spreading you?
If you can get on, yes, please.
Oh, I'll run on
we'll
that
make
fucking course.
dude. Yeah, if it's like
But you got to put me in what's that creek on 12 called?
Whatever you
Amen's
want, dude.
Corner, the
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
No,
about.
where dreams go to die. That the one on that par 3. Put me
The
in
short
there.
one where
Here's-
Jordan Spieth exploded.
Yes.
Here's- he got like
I know what you're talking
triple
about.
bogey or something.
Yeah, he had 2 in the water, and then
It's not Schitt's Creek, but
it's yeah.
2 paddles.
Yeah.
Tybo, here's the deal. If you, heaven forbid, knock on wood, died in a car crash tomorrow, and you were cremated, and your final wishes were to be spread over Augusta,
I'd make it fucking
Cameron
happen.
and I are walking onto Augusta with AK-47s, and we're saying we are spreading this motherfucker's ashes wherever
Y'all gotta
he
find.
wants them.
You guys gotta find the other 2 friends I have
I'm
because you're gonna need some backup.
I'm super
But I
sneaky.
We
appreciate
got it,
y'all.
dude.
I'm super
We're
sneaky.
making that happen. That is 100.
Don't die though.
But Cameron, it's your. I just want to say one last thing because I feel like we're probably gonna move on. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it's a great topic.
what would I prefer God to be real? Yes.
Absolutely.
Of
Anybody
course.
would.
Of course.
Other than crazy pessimistic, but you're not that pessimistic.
I'm not that bad off. I'm not
Yeah.
there yet. But I have a hard time. Oh, and maybe this is part of my fault. A lot of people are very happy-go-lucky. I wish I could be more that way.
I'm as
I'm
far
not.
from that as
No,
it.
I know you're not
Yeah.
either. I know you're not either. But for me, I just feel like everything that happens in life is just kind of chance.
Yeah.
And it's chance, and you get lucky. You think you have some things figured out, and they don't work out. And some great things work out because you're lucky. It's not
Yeah.
always because working hard always
Oh,
helps.
better be lucky than good. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get it. I'm
God, such a fucking Debbie Downer.
I told
know.
no, I'm not.
I think you're not so much a Debbie Downer. I think you're very much a realist,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
It's another way of saying pessimist, though.
Sometimes I think
Yeah.
it depends on what you're talking about.
No, because I'm a pessimist. I mean, I'm always gonna lean towards the worst will happen to you because most of the time it does.
I want to be prepared for the worst.
and I want to be prepared. For
I want to be prepared for
That's
it.
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
man.
where you guys want to go?
What a thick subject. I have a light story just to kind of. You got to pee.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Is this okay?
I think you might want to hear this story.
All right.
No, go ahead.
I can
You
hold
can
on.
go.
All right.
You can go.
Oh, I thought that was somebody yelling, but it's the.
So did I.
Yeah. It's like, gosh, that guy somebody got a
It's
fucking
Conan.
megaphone.
We need to get some music on. I'll tell him.
I knew that was gonna go that way just to start.
Oh yeah, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
It's such a thick subject.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I for my mind, the way it works, like if I were to break down with Tybo, like, whatever he may believe as far as the chance part of it, like I don't even care if it was 2 stars that came together. Who made the stars?
Yeah.
That's my thing. If it's
Yeah.
2 black holes, who made the black holes? Like there had to have been a
Something
start.
started. Yeah.
And
Oh, I believe in God. Completely.
yeah, I believe in
Yeah.
God in my own sense, not necessarily what's been taught.
Yeah,
to
my,
me.
my thing is I grew up in the Christian church.
Yeah.
And there's so much hypocrisy in that and like
Oh, it's
the
terrible.
like the world's 3,000 years old. It's like, come on, dude. We know there's dinosaurs. We know that we
Right.
know what we know what we know.
Yeah.
And we can prove those things. So to not listen
Accept
to the
that, yeah.
proven science is a little bit crazy to me. That's when you get into like I only listen to my pastor because he
Yeah.
is the one I listen to, and it's like, well, no, man, you should fucking watch TV.
Well,
Like,
and that's kind of my point is like Adam and Eve could have been a male sunflower and a female sunflower, and the snake in the garden was a bug that ate one of them. Like,
yeah,
it at the end of the day,
Something happens.
In my opinion, the Bible is not fact. It's parables. It's stories to tell whatever
and it's been
what
and
they
it's
want.
been given down and given down and given down and given down.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's been written by.
That's one of my pet peeves. One of the many pet peeves with religion is, come on, that's not word for word what happened. And it's just that's ridiculous.
Can I tell you my favorite part about religion? That's how other religions talk about how ridiculous the other religion is.
Yeah.
That's my
Well, there are
favorite.
some ridiculous ones.
Well, no, for sure. But I mean, the
There's
most
some more ridiculous than
The
others.
most popular one in the world involves
Islam.
a man dying for 3 days and coming out of a tomb.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about. I
That was the
often
most
think.
popular. I mean,
I think about that all the time, Tybo. It's like, there's hundreds of different religions in the world, right? And
thousands.
yeah, really,
Thousands.
when you break it down. But it's like, who is one religion to tell the other that they're right or wrong? Like, do you know?
No, L. Ron Hubbard, you're an asshole.
Like you have. Well,
Yeah.
I back that one, but
that's a human thing. That's not a spiritual or religious thing. All right, so my light story to break it up is,
You had sex with Magic Johnson.
This is no, I wish. This is to Tybo's number 4 because 1, I completely agree with it. 2 is like probably 3 months ago, I was in line at Brugger's with Haley, and I open up my phone and I have this email from this guy, and it's saying basically that he hacked my phone and
I had
has
that too.
audio visual of me
Beating
jacking off
Yeah, I got that one too.
to
Yeah.
to porn, and he was going to send it now because he has access to all my contacts.
Really?
Going to send
I
it
never
to
got that
everyone.
email.
Dude, he sent it to me like
And-
every day for like a month. I said,
Oh, wow.
I was like, dude, send it. By all
So
means.
yeah, I and he like said you need to pay me in Bitcoin, otherwise I'm going to do this in this
Yep.
many hours. And I had not looked at porn, even in that general time frame. And
Good for you.
well, no, but
I had.
But my
I definitely had.
the point is, it still sent a shiver down my spine. It
kinda
scared the
weird.
fuck out of me.
was like,
But I
what?
also knew it wasn't true. But it's crazy. I mean, there was just a story out of a couple that somebody hacked into their smart home. So he fucked with their Nest. He turned it up to like 90 plus degrees, and then they had baby monitors, and he was talking to them through the baby monitors, and that's creepy as shit. And you stop and think about how much access someone would have to our lives if they were able to hack the technology that we use. Nuts.
What was the
Nuts.
movie with I think it was the Edward Snowden movie, The Fifth Estate or something like
I
that.
didn't
Well,
see it.
anyways,
Never saw it.
it was a documentary about him, and there was a guy, and he was talking about like what your cell phone can actually do.
Oh.
And he was talking about like you can go in the middle of the desert in Africa where there's no signal anywhere, and you can they can get into that fucking phone. Dude,
I
he was
believe- yeah.
he was talking about like he in the movie. It was actually Edward Snowden. He was in, I can't remember if he was in Russia or where he was at the time. I think he might have been in China or somewhere like that. But he's talking with the documentary filmmakers. He goes into this hotel room and he unhooks a landline. Unhooks the landline. He goes, they can connect you from here and here and here. The fucking unhooked landline starts ringing. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
do whatever the fuck they want. They have tabs on
It's so wild.
everything.
I'm
and-
kind of glad they do.
And
to
if
be
you
honest
want to
with
watch me look at porn on my fucking phone, you are more than welcome.
I think there's more pros to it than there are cons.
I don't know. My thing is like, I don't have anything that.
To hide, right?
I mean, there's like the funny memes though, are like when people are dying, they're like, clear my search history.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a couple things I might not want.
yeah,
out there.
and I mean, and you're just like, if you're not running for Congress, I mean, what's the
But
worst gonna happen?
You know, I'd rather them.
But I don't think it's fair that they should be able to look back at somebody's
Dude, if
fucking
you look
shit
at-
when
if-
they're 16 years old and go, "Hey, man, you were
Well,
looking
that's
at
a whole separate issue. That's
Yeah,
a whole.
we- we-
That's a media thing. But
We-
my point is that I'd rather them thwart a potential school shooter or
Oh,
terrorist.
yeah.
And watch me argue with my fiance or Tybo look at porn or
Yeah.
Whoa, that's not the only thing
you
I do.
cooking naked. That's the picture you painted.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. Like I don't
No,
care.
I think
Listen away,
I think
'cause
the
I
big
don't
one
give a
is
shit.
is like for like politicians especially, which I don't give a fuck about because they're crooked as shit. But I don't think they should be able to look at fucking whoever he is sending dick pics to his girlfriend. Like, I think that's a privacy thing where if you're gonna cheat on your wife and send dick pics to your girlfriend, that shouldn't be something they should be allowed to have access to and then potentially blackmail you.
In a perfect world, yes, but I think there's more pros to it than there are cons. And I'm a, you know,
Do you guys
more of
watch
a-
Black Mirror?
I need to. Every time
I've seen
I
a few of
started,
them. I've seen the couple that you've told me to
I
watch.
just can never like. It's
Yeah.
not
This-
that I can never. It's just I always get interrupted for whatever reason. Like I've tried to watch it 3 times and always something comes up.
It will fuck your life up, dude. Everything we're talking about right now is straight up Black Mirror.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's
Whether it's-
happening really.
And they are painting such a. Last season sucked, but the first 3 seasons they paint such a beautiful picture of, hey, technology is great. We all agree that it is awesome. It could save us from X scenario. It makes our life
Yeah.
this much easier. However, comma,
You go too far.
this is what it could do.
I watched the one where the mom put a chip in her daughter's head where she could watch what she was
Can
doing.
we talk about that just for 1 second? I don't want
And
to derail
then-
this too much, but that is such a beautiful premise. All right, so I'm gonna.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
I
explain,
have a
I'm-
daughter.
I'm gonna explain it to Rybo, and I want to know your answer. It starts out with a mom who is trying to protect her daughter. So she's able to put a safety chip in her because the dog keeps barking at her. It's a negative stimulus. She's allowed to block out any negative stimulus. It's basically like a mute. It's like shaded, real
she
life.
can blur out bad
Real
looking
life
things.
Real life. So if Cameron was my mom and you were deemed negative stimulus, I would just see you as like a blur, and I couldn't hear you.
AKA sheltering your kid.
That's
Yes.
exactly the
So she has an iPad where she could also look in on what the daughter's doing, because initially the daughter got lost. That's why she got scared. And she goes, I don't want to lose my kid again. I got to make sure I know where she's at all the time. Fast forward
She's
till
a
the
teenager.
daughter's 16, 17. Mom goes up in the attic and finds that iPad, dusts it off. She's like, my daughter's been very distant.
teenager-ish.
Very, very distant. I don't know what she's doing. She said she was at a friend's house. I called the mom. Mom said she's not there. She goes in, checks the iPad, sees the daughter having sex for the first time, doing blow. If that was an option for your kid, would you ever put that in your kid?
No shot.
Absolutely not.
No shot.
No fuck. I have a daughter. No
that's-
chance.
You know what I love about
Elle
that?
was missing for 5 days.
Well, no, that's different.
That's what happened in the episode.
No.
But you got to
no.
be all in or all out.
Not in the episode. She was only gone for like
No.
like a
If
couple
Elle's
hours,
missing, I'm not going to. If I find her afterwards, I'm not going to put a fucking chip in her. No, I'm gonna be off. I'm gonna be terrified, and I'm gonna be murdering neighbors and shit.
But you know what I love about that whole story, and that's
75% of people in Temecula would do it to their kids.
well, no, not necessarily that. What I
We're close.
love is the wrong word. But what's really powerful about that story
people
to
are
me?
checking locations.
Well, no, it's
Fuck that.
we have so much technology and things that we are sold to believe we need, and that's how that started. She needed to block out the issues with the kid or whatever it may be, and then it turns into something that you frankly can't control. And
You're gonna see things.
how much of that is true in our lives with technology? I've argued 95%,
Yeah.
because we all went to school without cell phones when we were elementary school kids,
I didn't have a cell phone until I was 21 years old.
and we're still here.
Ribo, you and I. When was the first time you got a cell phone? Like
High school.
a decent one to where
Yeah,
you could
no,
actually
no,
do
no.
stuff.
Oh, actually, like do stuff? Oh,
Probably not until you were in college, right? Or senior year, close junior year.
I think I got like no, I didn't even have an iPhone when I was a senior.
Me
I
neither.
had like a flip phone
I
where
had
you
the
could
Razor.
call
I had the
and you
Razor.
could text,
I had the Razor.
and that's it.
Texting wasn't a thing. I remember when texting came out, I was like, why the fuck would you want to text?
Yeah,
Why don't you just call me? And now I'm just like, why the fuck are you
I guess
calling me?
my point to that
You're right.
question is, technology is exponentially growing.
Oh, it's ever.
And you guys know what exponentially is, but it is growing past a pace where we understand what the next step is.
Well, it grows faster and faster every day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The rate at which it grows.
Well, it's just like anything.
Ribo
You
and
buy a TV, and then 2 weeks later you come out, you're like, what the fuck, man? There's already a new TV that makes mine look like shit.
Where back in the day, a TV came out, and then 15 years later, we
Yeah.
had color.
Yeah.
Like,
Ribo and I, when we thought of Mac, we thought of those cool, laminated, like different color fucking
yeah.
Mac computers that you got to play on Oregon Trail.
Yep, that's
Or I always shot too much meat.
I
Way more
always-
meat than I
I
could
always
carry.
died of
You still
dysentery.
do.
Yeah.
Died of dysentery every time. Unless you played the banjo, boost morale. My point is,
It's a great game.
it was a great game. Technology is exponential, and I'll get off this Black Mirror thing. You would love it, especially Ribo. You would be like, I'd never get into that, Cameron.
The
I-
show?
Ye-
No, I've watched a few of them.
No, but there's certain things I don't know if you'd be fully
I watched the one where the guy
willing.
had to have sex with a pig.
Fully willing. That's the first episode ever. To people watching, don't watch the first episode. That's not indicative of what the show is. But I don't know if you're fully willing to suspend your disbelief in every episode.
No, I've heard it's a great show. It's just, it's like one of those things. It's hard to follow some of them.
I heard it's a complete mind fuck.
Yeah.
I have to take a shower after every episode.
No, the one I watched
It's
with
gross.
the one I watched with the daughter, like I watched
It's
it.
fucked up.
I watched
Because you
it
like
because
sweat, or what does that mean?
It makes me feel dirty because I'm like, I can see this.
I
Oh,
watched
yeah.
another
This
one.
is very close.
I watched
Closer
another.
than we're willing to.
I watched
willing
another one
to
where you're
admit.
like, where your rating system was.
That's happening right
Oh
now.
yeah, you were telling me about that.
That is
It's your-
happening right now.
That one was pretty good. like your rating system is basically your social status in life, and then you can lose your social status. Like, I don't remember exactly how the episode goes, but it was a cool concept.
Yeah, it's basically you give a person every interaction, you give them 1 to 5 stars.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like the interaction, your rating goes up and down by each interaction.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a high enough status based on stars, you've got
Can't
a 3,
live in certain
it's
places.
It's like an Uber rating. If you have a 3.8, you can't live in a 4.0 housing complex.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Speaking of that a little bit, a movie that's kind of similar to this is Her. Have you guys seen Her?
I never
have
heard of
not.
it.
I watched about the first 30 minutes. I was pretty high. I fell asleep.
It's really
not
good.
gonna lie.
I never even heard of it.
Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah, Walking
Yeah.
Phoenix. So basically, what happens? I'm not ruining anything for you. He falls in love with a processing system. So it's set in the future, and this company builds basically a female, but she's a computer. She's like an Alexa, right? But she can travel with him wherever, and it's just kind of crazy because to me it speaks to two sides. It's the future and technology, but it's also human nature where it's like at the end of the day, what you truly fall in love with is just a connection to a human, and they're able to fabricate it so close to a human in the future where
So
he
he falls
doesn't
in
need
love.
he doesn't need the physical side. He's so in love.
It's never gonna happen for me.
Well, that's good, but
Only suspension.
but you know what I mean? It's such a mind fuck of a movie because it gets me on both ends of the spectrum. It takes me back to the
If that thing
fucking
doesn't have a butthole,
1920s.
I said, all right, I said I wouldn't do this, but Rybo, I'm sorry. I got to make this point. Episode of Black Mirror. Woman's in love with her husband, got a young kid. Husband dies in a car crash. Gets an email, says, would you like to talk to your husband again? It's a system.
Fuck.
The system texts him or texts her the same way that exactly the same verbiage, instead of got you, he'll say gotta or whatever it is. Would know no difference. And she goes, oh my God, I'm texting my husband. That progresses to, hey, would you like to talk to him on the phone? Same voice, same everything. That progresses to, would you like a life-made copy, looks exactly like him, talks exactly like him, same mannerisms. She goes, send that shit.
he murders her.
It goes down a fucking rabbit hole.
We're not that far off from that.
It is insane. Dude, I know a person that likes to talk to their loved one through some system. Says, hey, I love you.
That's what everybody does. They text each other.
And it's no, but the person's dead.
How do
Oh,
you
you
do
know a personal person?
that? How do you,
Yes.
how do you do that?
I don't know the inner workings, and I don't want to go too far into it, but
It's fair.
I know a person that does that. It gives that.
Whatever kind. It doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're already there. We're
Who is
the-
this person?
the
And I want to know what the
technology's
fuck
like-
they're.
I can't.
That's
I'll
not
tell
fair.
you off the air.
Yeah,
I'll tell you off the
yeah,
air.
that's not fair.
Off the air.
Is it a dead? What is it? A dead parent?
No. It is a person that I know that is still alive that is talking to or at some point in their life, they felt comfort in talking to a dead loved one. And
Via simulation,
via simulation. Like, hey,
through
just want-
technology.
How much
Hey.
money does this cost?
hey, I just want you. It's very basic. It's just, hey, I just want you to know I love you and keep doing well. Like, I'm not in
God,
the
whoever
weeds on that
invented
shit.
that fucking-
Wow. No, we're not far from any of that stuff. That's the mind blowing part.
Like,
Gotta watch that
like
show,
downloading consciousness
that
and shit like that. Yeah, it's coming.
Just making a clone. I mean, we have sex robots.
The best part about that episode, though,
If
was
I ever get rich, I'm buying you guys.
the
some
best part
fucking
about that
super
episode.
high-end ones.
The guy
Merry
fucked.
Christmas.
The guy fucked her too good. Like he was a robot. He just would never stop. And he was like,
Animal.
that'd be nice. Anyways, sorry, tangent. My bad.
No, it's good, man. I mean, I do need to watch more Black Mirror. I need to watch just a little bit of Black Mirror.
I'll
I've seen
give
a
you.
few,
I'll give
yeah.
you 5 episodes, and you're gonna be.
Send
hooked.
them to me. Text me them.
I'll text you right now.
All right.
We gotta smoke weed first.
No, you don't.
Smoke weed every day.
It does
Yeah.
make it better.
Where you want to go? I kind of. I mean, we both have New World Order, more or less.
Do you believe in the reptilian thing?
Yeah, the
I
reptilian
don't.
thing
I just
yeah.
threw that in there. I don't believe in it, but there's a lot of people that do.
I just think that's so random.
Well, it's more of like an alien race, I think, is what they're
Like,
trying to say.
But I know,
Yeah.
but
Like
why,
there's a higher power alien race that's able to.
why the reptilian thing? Like, how did
Because
that get...
you've seen the videos and shit where people blink their eyes sideways and shit. Like,
Yeah, I can't get my mind around that. Meaning that just doesn't make any sense.
So the New World Order thing, you guys both have it, so let's
Yeah.
dive into it. But
I do think that there is a super group of elite people that pull the strings for every single aspect of our politics, every single aspect of our whatever you want to call it, wars, this, that, the other. I think they are all fucking eyes wide shut parties. It's some weird, crazy fucking Epstein fucking kids. You know, just I mean, it's a everyone's in on it, and they're not that far away from us, I don't think.
I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, Trump, the Clintons, Bush, and Obama are all in the same unit, and
Of course they are.
on surface level, they make it seem as if they're enemies, but they all have their own personal or group agenda that they're trying to accomplish, and we are all just their minions, and they figure out a way to suck every dollar out of our
The
pockets
rich get richer.
to them. And a la the media.
thank you.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
how do we sell the most fear? Thank you, Missy. How do we sell the
Thank you.
most fear amongst the four of us or whatever group that is?
Thank you.
How do we sell the most fear so that we can
Well, I think
maintain
you keep-
decent public,
You keep
public
us separated.
vision?
That's how you keep us
Right,
engaged.
right.
Would you guys agree that most people vote based off fear? Fear of what the other side would do?
Oh, most people? I think probably, yeah.
A majority
Yeah,
of people.
yeah. Most people, but not most intelligent.
They're going to take away this, or they're going to do this to me. I'm going to lose money. That's fear. In my mind, that's fear.
I think more
agree
so
with that.
maybe back in the day, but more so nowadays, it's more how.
Way worse now.
Well, no, I think it's. I'm on this team so heavily, I can't even imagine agreeing with the other side.
I
Like,
I,
I
think
get-
that's more the media, that part of it.
but
get where you're
that's still an agenda that's being pushed by them.
I get
Oh,
where you
I
come,
agree with that.
I get where
Yeah.
you come from, Cameron. But let's take a step back and say, doesn't that stem from fear?
Yeah, in a way it does. Yeah, yeah.
These
but
guys
I
are
think,
gonna
but I
do
think like
this.
the movement nowadays, like I think I don't know. I don't even know what word to use. Like
Yeah,
I guess more progressive is what you're gonna say is how both ways, progressive in the way of liberalism and progressive in the way of like conservatism. I'm gonna go as far as like my guy Trump will go, or my guy fucking Hillary will go. If you vote for Trump, you're a racist. The same way as the other side is, they're coming to steal our jobs. We're all gonna die if they invade us. Like, like stuff like that. It's so fucking far apart. When if you literally sat down with those people and you just went, hey man, what do you fucking really believe?
Yeah.
What do you really believe? You can't really believe this bullshit. The same thing is, I mean, some people probably look at me and go, hey, you're so fucking right wing, but I'm really not. I'm not really. I mean,
I agree.
I'm not really that far. Like, you want to kill a baby? You can kill a baby, but don't deny that it's killing a baby. I got no issues with it.
I think
That's-
Tybo's the same way. I think Tybo gets a rap for being
Oh, absolutely.
very
Tybo and I are
left
fucking.
wing,
Tybo
but
and
I
have
don't
got-
think Tybo is left. Like he has some things. You have some things that you believe in that are on the left side, but you also have a lot of things that you believe that are on the right side,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
open-minded on both sides. And you are the same way, and I hope that I am as well. But like,
Yeah, but if you look, the way the media portrays it is like, you have to be enemies. You can't fucking, and it's like, if you really just got those people together and went, hey man, you guys sit down for 20 minutes and
Hash
just
it
talk
out.
and just talk about. And there is assholes on. There's
Yeah, of
fucking
course.
far right wing
There's
dipshits
certain
for
guys
sure,
you get-
and there's
far left,
lefty
yeah, I don't wanna
fucking
talk to 'em.
morons.
the percent
Like,
that the media portrays in America, I would argue, is about 5% of the population on
Yeah.
both sides,
But
left
who-
or right.
But who's pulling the strings for all of it?
That's what the New World Order, bro.
That's the Illuminati.
Right here.
I think they're doing it, man.
Jay-Z.
I mean, I think they are.
It's Jay-Z.
I mean,
Watch the throne, dude.
the what?
Watch the throne.
Game of Thrones?
Watch the throne.
Oh, watch. Oh, yeah.
I got it.
Thank you. God.
Hove.
I just think that there's definitely people pulling strings, and there's people way above President Trump. There's people that are pushing an agenda for him.
I don't know about. Well, maybe.
I think so.
Maybe. I mean,
Rybo, you
I
just
think-
did that like new meme where the girl takes a sip of a drink. She goes,
I know. That one.
No, I think
okay.
I think that
You're
they
probably-
said the same thing with George Bush. It goes back to my 9/11 inside thing. I think that George Bush was just dumb enough. Great. I think he's a good guy. I think it deep down, but I do think he's a puppet.
I think he's. you know
Everyone's
what
a
the sad
puppet.
part is? The more and more I get removed from it, I do think genuinely he could be a nice guy.
Oh.
Just the way that I think that. Hold on. That most people that on the right, Obama could be a
Obama's
nice.
guy.
Could
Obama's
be
a nice guy.
I'm gonna say could because I don't know, but I think they are. There's a show, and Obama put on a way better show than any president I've ever been
Oh,
alive
he was
for.
charismatic, and he was black.
Most charismatic guy ever.
I mean, no,
Black or
I'm
white?
saying he's black. He's
white, and
no, but you
different.
just think you think about it. They're smooth, like they're way. You look at George Bush,
George Bush,
like, and you go,
Junior.
he's not he's
was
not smooth.
Not smooth.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Obama was smooth. I mean, he was charismatic. He was easy to listen to.
You really think about it, they're very similar presidents.
Oh, George Bush got the rawest deal out of everybody.
They both did. In a certain
not as
sense.
bad.
I don't think he got a raw deal, but
How many catastrophes did he? I mean, he had fucking
Hear me out.
9/11,
Hear me out.
Katrina.
Hear
I
me
mean,
out.
he got
pick a better vice president.
Hear me out. They're both
The
on-
devil.
on separate ends, right? So that, but they're both very likable guys.
George Bush is less likable.
Yeah.
To a certain part of the country, there's a
Yeah.
certain part of the country that looks at George Bush and is like they see themselves in George Bush, mainly the Midwest and the South. So he can
don't-
say,
I don't
"Fool me
fuck with
once,
them.
fool me twice, whatever." the
Yeah.
fuck you
I don't
wanna
Fool
fuck
say.
me,
with
won't fool me
Right.
again.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me
Right.
twice, can't be fooled again. It's
Right.
like that's the most basic saying ever.
Speaking
dude.
of
And it's not
Jay-Z,
the right
right?
one.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Right. But they're both kind of like they're both likable guys that didn't do a ton, and were dealt both dealt tough hands, I would say, in different respects. I would argue Bush a little bit tougher, but
Yeah.
but still, and they really just you look at it, they don't really do that much. The president of the United States does not do that much, and that's what one of the reasons
I'll
why
s-
it makes me believe in a new world order or an Illuminati, however you want to call it. I mean, I think that there is like a group of 50 to 100 people that pull the strings on this
I bet
world.
it's 20 or 10.
It's got to be a little bit bigger than
I
that.
bet it's not. I bet it's fucking 10 dudes, just 10 white hairs just sitting around a bench and
It's
going,
gotta be bigger.
and going, fuck, man, what are we going to do with Trump?
There's
He
no Middle
won't-
Eastern guys
He
pulling the string?
won't listen.
Assad's in
keep-
there.
I was gonna say, there's no Middle Eastern guys.
No, they
No,
are.
I think they're all fucking blue-haired.
There's got to be somebody, dude. There's a
No.
lot of money in there.
Bro, and they meet secretively.
That's why they
probably.
stay out of it.
Okay, call it 20 people, and they're like, okay, we're gonna raise the gas prices in California. That's gonna affect Saudi Arabia, and we're gonna do this
Yeah.
over here, and then in Russia that'll happen, and then the Ukraine will happen with this, and then boom, boom,
See,
boom.
imagine all
and
this
we
happening with
all
like
make more money.
technology that no one has yet. They're like sliding shit.
Oh,
over.
they
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure have that.
No, there's a fucking alien. At
Minority
the
Minority Report
He's sitting
shit.
at the head of the table,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, ET.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
ET's running the P&Ls for him.
P&Ls.
I have one. It's a little bit off. It's way off this topic, but it almost made my list. Psychics. It almost made my list because I want them to be real.
Sidekicks?
Psychics.
Oh, psychics?
Robin?
I want them to be real.
You're not talking John Edwards, right?
No, I'm talking just in general. Somebody that has a deeper connection with other people.
The other side.
Not even the other side.
That is literally
Maybe-
John
Well,
Edwards'
what do you
TV
mean
show.
other people then? You mean like living people?
Like okay, you know,
mean
like
psychics or
no, you know,
mediums?
like when you okay, so you haven't talked to somebody in fucking a decade, and all of a sudden you think about them and they text you.
No, we've talked
What
about
is
this
that?
before.
What is that?
The universe.
And maybe somebody's just connected to that a little bit better.
No,
like-
I think that's the universe, and I think
Yeah, I don't
whatever
buy
you want
into
to call whatever you want to call it. higher power, aliens,
Well,
the universe,
like
whatever.
I was listening to Joe Rogan today, and he was talking about psychics, and he's
That
like,
happens a
it's
lot.
bullshit. But he's like, but there's people that like have really good senses of smell, and there's people that have like
That is
crazy-
not the same.
It's not the same, but you never know. Somebody could have tapped into a different sense or a different, sixth
Oh, I see-
sense,
I
like
see
type
that
thing.
I was
Like
gonna say
maybe
that's a terrible point,
that-
but now I see what you mean.
Was
see,
that one
like,
of the
they're
episodes
just-
where he was smoking a lot of weed?
No, it was just this last one, and he was talking about just because the guy that was on there, I don't remember, it was some musician guy, but pretty interesting one. But
Sturgis.
That's
Or
who it was. I don't know who that is, but he was talking about. He was like, "Do you believe in that?" And he's like, "No, I don't fucking believe in it. I think it's bullshit." Blah blah blah. But I could see it being true because maybe somebody's just tapped into something deeper, like the whole like a mom when her son's trapped under a car lifts up a fucking car.
Biological,
It's biological.
That's
but
adrenaline.
but
that's
but
been
biological.
which is biological.
But why can't
That's been
biological?
measured.
But why can't
Right.
biological be? I tapped into something in my brain because we only use 10% of our brain. Maybe there's something in there that
And
says
that's
Well,
also not true.
the big difference is the M word. It's measurable. Biological is measurable.
Yeah.
Spiritual is not.
Yeah.
That's the
Why does it have
difference.
to be spiritual though? Why can't it just be
Well,
an
'cause that
actual
is-
connection?
Well, that I mean,
You don't know.
I use the word spiritual in the sense of you cannot measure that.
Maybe-
As far
I
as the
mean,
way
yeah. Right
what,
now we
what
can't.
we can comprehend, we
Yeah.
cannot measure that.
I don't believe in them. I think they're full of shit.
They are full
I
of
think
shit.
most of them are.
Ribo has a personal connection with a psychic, so he's had a different experience. But I
Well-
still think that's bullshit.
I'm gonna be honest. My experience with her, 80% of it, I didn't. Whatever. I probably.
But she had some.
And that's the part that actually turned me more on to her. But that's
Somebody
beside
paid
the
for
point.
it.
But I remember
No, it's free.
we were sitting back, and Cameron and I are like, if we had to go to her, how much would it cost? And I'm like, I'm not spending that much money to debunk
Right.
something.
So what happened with that, and is my mom has spent so much money with her, which is crazy, and I think it's stupid, but that's another point. And she listens, so hey, mom. She
Mom, tell me I'm your third lost son. And
Yeah,
Get me
exactly.
set up, and I just want to sit in there and go. No, you tell me about me.
I will go deadpan in that
but
office.
She was generous to me, and then even beyond that was generous to Haley.
Yeah.
Now, is that a tactic for us to spend more money down the road, which I have not, by the way? Maybe, but I was impressed with that fact, and that was the biggest thing that kind of threw me off was like she pointed out some stuff with Haley that no one would know, and it's not on. My big thing is social media. Are you able to find it out online? And there were some things that there's just no way, no way, and she offered, in a sense of compassion, in that instance, to talk to Haley for free. And from what Haley told me, it's just like I said, 80% of it I could explain why she would know. Social media, things like that, like that's explainable. But there were some things where it's like that I've tried to explain it.
No, I get it, man.
And
I get it.
Yeah.
But,
But I also think 95% of them are bullshit.
So you got 5% that you think is out there.
Yeah.
So they have a in touch depth, and they have
Yeah.
a real
They
grasp
have an
on.
extra sense.
You just told me I was fucking stupid for thinking.
No, that's not what I said. I said the way you started that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then the way you
Oh.
described it, it did make sense. It's
Okay.
like an extra sense. It's the sixth sense.
Yeah. I don't
know.
think it's real, but I want it to be.
Yeah, that's
Do
one I'm
you?
on the fence on.
Oh, I do.
I'm on the
You
fence
do?
on that one.
I want it to be real. Yeah. Like if
Why?
I could legitimately go to somebody and they somehow contact my grandpa or something like that, that's fucking crazy, man. That's
Yeah, if I could go to someone, a guy or a girl, every week and talk to my grandpa, who's passed away, I can't tell you how much I'd pay for that.
yeah, I died when my grandpa died when I was really
If
young.
it was
so
legit
could
and
be
like I knew for a fact that is
All right.
legit, I could talk to him.
again, that's my pessimism coming in. I'm like, what? But yeah, if you know for certain it's
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
I get it.
That's what I'm
but-
saying. I
One-
don't think it's real. I think it's all horseshit.
Once a month, I'm
But-
going and having coffee with my grandpa. And I think the sad part is that a lot of people are sold on that and they think it's actually legit. And like I said, part of me does believe that some people are legit, but I think the most are not. And that's how people make a lot of money. And that's sad. That sucks.
It's
No, you're
fucked
taking
up.
advantage of fucking people's vulnerability.
Emotions and
Yeah.
their
Des-
family
they're
members. And,
desperate.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But with that said, if I could have a for sure conversation with my grandpa, I mean, I'd pay thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah, I mean,
A legitimate conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
I'd pay $1,000 a month, no
Yep.
doubt.
Yep.
oh yeah, if you knew it was real and you knew, yeah.
And that brings up another point. Like, so I actually don't know if you guys have lost someone like real close to you, but
yeah, I have.
yeah. The part that I miss the most, because the guy that I've lost that's closest to me is my grandpa, and the part I miss the most is just the conversation with him. That's it, and it's a good reminder of like. It's just all about the time that you spend with other people and the effort that you put into the face-to-face energy. My grandpa was the type of guy you'd ask him a question and he'd answer it 5 minutes later. Not because he forgot about it, not because he didn't put energy into it. It's because he was thinking about it for 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
I had
Full energy.
limited time talking to your grandpa, but I had one time that your pops, myself, Kyle, and another one of Rio, we played in his Marine Corps
Yeah.
golf tournament, and we won. So he came over. He was in a wheelchair at the time, I believe, or he might have been in a walker. It was,
What golf course was it
it
at?
was at the Colony.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, it was the first one we won
Yeah.
it. We won it, and he came over, and the dude just literally sat there, and he was still quick, and he was still
Oh,
there, and
super
I
intelligent.
mean, you could tell his body was failing him for sure.
Yeah.
And he was just so present for like that old of a person, because most of the time you think of old people like that, you're like, Jesus fuck, man, like you guys can't
Senile.
fucking, yeah, you're gone. But he just sat down, talked
Yeah.
with us, you know, he just
Yeah.
engaged, and I was like, holy shit, man, I hope I'm that fucking.
We were
He's
very-
probably 90 or something. I don't know how old he was
Yeah.
then.
I mean, he died at 94, I think. I
So
mean,
yeah, he was probably, 87 or 88
Yeah.
or something like that.
we were really fortunate on that front, but I mean, he's the number one person that I enjoyed having a conversation with, but it just goes to show like the importance of the conversation,
It also
the-
goes to the vulnerability of people, like they're willing to buy into
and that's
bullshit. 'cause
and
they
that's
go,
the sad part.
Yeah, because they will feed on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every single person that's like on TV, you know, the ones that are like they have a huge crowd and they go.
John Edwards.
Yeah, I don't know who John Edward. He's like
He was
he
the
must
guy-
be like was he the one with the earpiece and he was
He had a show.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the biggest
Yeah.
farces.
Yeah, and
but
you filled out a card before you went in, and then he would be like, "Oh, fucking Virginia, you know, blah blah blah. Let's talk to you about your
Yeah.
sister." And he already
Starts-
knew your sister had died, and this and that. That's horseshit.
The mega pastors,
But I want it to be true.
The mega pastors
Same
and
thing.
things like that have made
There's a super funny show that
There's
just
a-
started on HBO. It's called Righteous Gemstones. It's got John Goodman. It's got Danny McBride. It's got
Oh,
Adam
God.
Adam.
John Goodman's
the-
good. I
Adam
like
Devine from.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
they're a family of like evangelists, but like massive. They have like huge churches. You should watch it on. It's on HBO. You have HBO to go, right?
Yeah, is it gonna make me mad?
No, it's hilarious.
Okay.
Because it basically just shows like how ridiculous it is, and
That's
like
gonna
John.
make me mad.
No, it's funny.
Okay.
You gotta watch. Well, Danny McBride.
No, I
mean,
I love McBride.
Like in the first
Yeah.
episode, it's Danny McBride, and he's like this big mega pastor. He's the son of John Goodman, and there's a video of him that somebody's trying to blackmail him, and him with strippers and doing blow and shit. And they sent it to him, and he's like, he got all the guys together. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's super funny.
I'm gonna take a pee, but when I get back, I want to get into 9/11.
Okay.
Mic drop.
I want to
Good
get
shit.
in. All right.
Go ahead. Where you
No,
want to
no,
go?
no, no, no. 9/11 is good.
Yeah.
So
Content, like I watch it all. I love it. I love it because I want it to be real. And you watch these idiots, and they're like,
Do-
they're
do you think it's more believable than Megalodon?
No, I think Megalodon is real.
Is
Yeah,
a possible thing?
I think they're both possible. I think Megalodon is way more possible because the sea
The
is
ocean's
so
massive. Yeah.
undiscovered.
Yep.
And they had that massive fucking squid just float up on Japan a couple years ago.
Yeah,
It might
was
have been
it
like
80 feet?
it was massive. So that
Yeah.
means that there's predators down there that are fighting that to get that big. That's why it gets that big. So
Yep.
it's, it can fight off something. That means there's something down there that's bigger than that. Which means that there probably is a fucking megalodon. And I saw the Meg movie. It was pretty terrible. Jason Statham. But the idea of there was like almost like an did you probably didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
It's
no.
like an ozone layer that's in the ocean that basically you have to break through to get down to another
it
like
gets you
and
bigger.
That's where the big animals are, like where the regular size sharks don't go down because it's like almost like an ozone layer protecting them. But what happens in the movie, they break the ozone layer, the megalodon comes out and it fucking eats everybody. But I think there's massive sharks somewhere. Why wouldn't there be? I mean, there's massive squid. That means there's something fucking.
Dude, Megalodon scared the shit out of me, dude.
You're never gonna see it probably just because.
No, I
but
won't.
but
I
like
don't go
even
in the ocean.
even the videos they have, like the real videos that they have of like massive
How big
sharks,
they are?
and those are measured and they're huge. They're not like megalodon size, 100 feet, but they're
24 footers.
oh, they're massive. Yeah,
Yeah,
and now they're
27.
finding those great whites off of Africa that are, they just found that one, the biggest one ever, and it's like, that's as big as a fucking boat. Like,
How big was it? Do you remember?
I can't
feet?
remember how big
Yeah.
it was, but it was so big around they couldn't like it showed the cage next to it because it came up to the cage. I mean, it's real footage.
Yeah.
It came up to the cage and it made like a diver cage look like a fucking micro machine. Like, and there's some crazy asshole that reaches out and grabs it. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I
It's
don't
like,
fuck with the ocean,
Yeah.
dude. I just
The ocean.
No,
is
I
scary.
think it's the same thing with aliens. Like, it's stupid to think that there's not something big down there.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
The one way I always think about the ocean, I think I've said this before, is like when I see an ant outside, like I'm just walking down the street and I see an ant, I'm not gonna go out of my way to step on it because
But-
then
Murder 'em.
he's in his element. When he's in my house, guess what, bro? You're out of your
I'm
element.
murdering thousands.
You're out of your
Yeah.
fucking element. So I'm gonna kill you. Me, I'm not assuming a shark's gonna kill me because I'm in my element. I'm on land. When I'm in the ocean, I'm out of my element. If that shark wants to
Are you
get a
scared of
bite,
the ocean?
I'm not scared of it, but I just don't really like a lot of things in the ocean. What good could happen when you're in the ocean?
I'm with
It's
Tabo on that
awesome.
one.
It's fun.
Other than the fact that you can get killed at a much higher rate than you would
I was
when
in-
you're on land.
Strip
I was-
clubs are fun, but you can lose a lot of money too.
I was in Hawaii recently.
Great point,
for a
Ryan.
for a buddy's
Can you
wedding.
pass me that dip can? I just want to
Yeah.
smell it.
I was in
I'm weird like that.
in Hawaii, and we were all sitting in the water, and we started talking about shark attacks. And
Oh,
we were
that's a good time to talk about.
so we're talking about it, and
What better?
And there was a shark attack on the beach we were at like 8 months before, and I go, you know how much that lowers our odds of getting eaten right now? You know how many people have been eaten by sharks? That I already asked you guys this. In the last 200 recorded years, people in Hawaii that have been killed by sharks.
I'm hearing
What would
you,
you guess?
but
What would
I'm-
you guess?
200 years
200 years of the recorded. What would you guess?
eaten or like
Killed by a shark
Hey,
in
Cameron,
Hawaii.
Cameron, how many people have been eaten by sharks on land?
carry the one.
Right. How many people die in a car crash?
I'm
You
gonna
drive
say
a car
12.
every day.
12, Cam.
I understand that.
What's your guess?
Die in a car crash
No,
every day?
no. 200 years. Hawaii shark attacks, death.
2.
8. And one of them was like 8 months before we got there, and I was like,
Almost at 8.
dude, if I get eaten by, like, you're not gonna get eaten by a shark.
You know what I hate though about those statistics is like the amount of people that go in the ocean versus the amount of people that drive a car. Like proportionally,
Thank you.
and I think
I'm
that's
still
what you gotta
fine with
look
it.
at.
I'm still fine with it.
But I
I
understand
still
that.
drive a car, and I still go in the ocean.
I mean, the fact that there's been 8 over the past 200 years, that's very, very low.
Oh.
And it's probably lower than car crashes.
Just in that.
But you have
section
to
of
look
the
at it
beach.
proportionally. You have to.
no, that was all of Hawaii.
Cameron, we got in the last
The
big,
one island or all the islands?
The last big argument we got was proportionally how many more people get
I
killed in LA
know.
versus
Bro.
Amsterdam.
I'm still right.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Way
You were
wrong.
way wrong.
I have more statistics. We can go back into it, but
Here's-
I had more people come at me, and they were like, you should have said this, you should have said this, you should have said this.
No, I looked at the numbers.
I had
after.
like 10
Per-
people tell
yeah.
me
Per-
that
it-
you were crazy.
yeah.
It's called per
No.
capita. It's called per capita. That's why they don't measure the same numbers of murder rates in.
Yeah.
Do you know how much murder rates
In-
in my house? 0.
That's why they don't measure murder rates in Chicago versus
0.
Temecula. They don't go. Temecula has one of the lowest crime. Well, at least 2-3 years ago, Temecula has one of the lowest crime rates in America. They don't just go, "Oh, you have 100,000 people. 3 people got abused by a heinous crime." No, they extrapolate it to meet the capita.
But there's
Keyword
also
rate
there's
comes
also
down to a
way more
rate.
variables
Well,
that go into that.
because of
I know,
the
but-
city they live in.
But that night you were arguing that the reason the biggest variable is how many people are there, and that
That has
doesn't
That
make
does
sense.
that does have something to do with it.
no, it doesn't. 'Cause
People
they,
stacked on top of each other is going to be different than people that are fucking living in a tribe.
Population density does it's that I agree with you. That
Yeah.
is a factor as far as the
Distribution
density
of
peop-
wealth.
the density of people, but from a per capita standpoint, we got to replay that because that was.
Distribution of wealth is a huge one.
I mean, frankly, you were way wrong.
yeah,
No.
you're wrong.
You were drunk. You even texted me the next day. And you're
Yeah,
like,
you
I
said
don't
Well,
know.
my
I
bad,
listened to
dude.
it again, and I should have had better arguments for sure, but I was super drunk, and it still matters. There's still variables.
I agree with you.
There
It
has to
still-
be variables.
It still matters, but it's
The number
not-
one variable, I'm not in the ocean. I'm not going to get bit by a shark.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's
All right, let's talk
pretty
about
black and white.
Yeah, 9/11.
Let's talk about 9/11. We probably
Yeah.
got about 20 more minutes before we start losing people. But
Okay. I picked 9/11 not because I want it to be true, and I don't.
Right.
I don't want to think that the United States had something to do with it, but there is a lot of sketchy things that went on in that.
can you imagine if they orchestrated it?
I don't think they orchestrated it.
Oh.
Let me say that. I don't think they orchestrated it, but I do think they kind of maybe knew something was going to happen.
So they like turned a blind eye.
Kind
let
of
it
turned a
happen.
blind eye to go.
The only thing that makes me kind of give way to this theory is the Pentagon. The Pentagon
Nope.
part
Yeah.
is the number one thing. I'm like, there's no video of that shit going in. They didn't find any part of that plane.
Well, have they said that it was a bomb now? They've said that now, right?
Have they?
No, I'm pretty sure they know.
Because they initially said it was a plane.
They said it was a plane initially, but I'm pretty sure now that they like it's like known that it wasn't a plane.
Are you sure?
I
They
thought
let-
it was.
What happened to people on the plane that they said died?
No, there was nobody on the plane. There was no plane. It was an inside bomb. There was no plane parts.
But
There's
they
no-
initially said it was a
No,
plane.
initially they did, but I think now that they
You got to research that, dude, because you can't just initially say there was a plane. With every plane has people on it and all
Oh
that.
yeah,
I'm not
manifest.
sa-
A
I'm not-
manifest.
yeah,
the
mural.
building. What about the building that just fucking fell down on itself?
I don't understand architecture that much. Or,
It doesn't happen like that. That's like blowing up a Las Vegas hotel. The way that thing fell down.
it did seem like a controlled demolition, but I don't know.
I don't get great service when I run all these programs. So,
No, I don't want to think it's real, but I do think that there's a lot of things that would make you think like, well, they had to have something going on. Like they either knew, and they went, well, this is an opportunity, because wartime is some of the best times we've ever had.
I would pray that would never happen.
But
Pray. I would pray.
no, you
I don't even believe in God.
no, you
I'd
don't
pray.
you don't want it to happen.
who
But
do you-
also,
who do you pray to?
yeah,
Nobody.
yeah, the government.
Dear Tiger Woods.
Dear 6 p.m., 8 ounce baby Jesus.
I like to picture my baby Jesus in a Leonard Skinner T-shirt.
Me too.
Yeah.
So if all right, second on the 9/11 thing. Other than the Pentagon, is the only thing you're going off of is the way the buildings fell down?
No, I just think like now that they've come out and said that they had like tips that it was going to happen. They had an idea that it was going to happen, and kind of didn't do much about it. Like they didn't really, maybe they just didn't believe it. Maybe back then there was nothing like that had ever happened, obviously. So they were like, nah, this will never happen to us. They're not going to attack us on our own soil. But if they had that knowledge and just went and didn't do anything about it, I mean, that's just as negligent as fucking blowing it up yourself.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject. Where were you when 9/11 happened?
I know exactly where I was. I was in 11th grade.
Yeah, you don't forget it.
I was
Yeah.
in 11th grade. I was walking out into my living room. My mom was sitting there watching the TV, and I saw the second plane hit.
Yeah.
Same.
The first one had already hit. Walked out, and then all day at school, we watched it. We stayed in our one class, which was my U.S. history. What's it, 11th? U.S. history, something like that. Mr. Boyle, dickhead.
Fuck
We watched. We sat in our same class, and we just watched the coverage for the whole day,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
I remember trying to-
Where were you at, Tybo?
I was in 5th grade. And
Holy shit, I was in 11th grade. You were in 5th grade.
yeah,
I was in 4th.
Maybe
That's
10th
it.
grade.
I was in 5th grade, and I remember trying to get out of school because what else do you think about when you're a 5th grader? My dad told me this is the safest day you'll ever be at school.
Oh.
Get your ass to class.
Yeah. No, it was it's pretty wild.
So I woke up. So every day I would wake up an hour earlier than I had to because there was a drawing show on TV. It was like Pappy's Drawing or something. You draw along with him and
You
color.
drawer?
I liked it then.
Artist, I should say.
I think I missed my calling. But anyways, I woke up and like I would always get up well before my family and get my little 8.5 by 11 and my colored pencils ready to rock. And so I turn on the TV because it's every morning 6 a.m. ready to rock.
Why the fuck is my show not on?
Every channel.
Every channel.
Yeah. every
And
channel.
I didn't really understand what was happening. I was in 4th grade, so and then the phone starts ringing off the hook, and my parents come out and
Landline.
yeah, the thing is my uncle flew for American Airlines. They were both American Airline. All three were American Airline.
Yep.
And he was flying in New York.
Oh shit.
So we didn't really know. Like, fuck, man, it was scary because we didn't know. I didn't know if my Uncle Alan was one of those planes. And so, similar thing to you. So we get up. Everyone's up at that point, and we see it on TV, and it's like the question: do you go to school or not? And like my parents give them both credit. It's like, no, fuck these guys. Like you're gonna do what you always do, and you're not gonna change it because of these guys. So we go to school, and man, I just remember like I was in 4th grade. I was like sobbing to my teacher, like, how could people do this to other people? Like I can't fathom this, you know? And I mean,
I was a total opposite. I was as callous as I am now.
really,
Dude, I
was soft, man.
I regret this to this day. There was a girl that was in my class, and I'm an asshole now, and apparently I was an asshole then. Carries over. There was a girl, and maybe it was me just not really understanding what was truly happening at that point.
yeah.
And she showed up the next day, and she goes, "My dad was in New York." And I'm like, "Whatever, he's fine. Whatever,
He died.
he's fine." No, he survived, but I had no comprehension at that time.
Yeah.
All I cared about was getting buckets on the fucking basketball court. That's all I cared about.
I mean,
And
it's not fair to expect that from you when you're in 5th grade.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to be honest. Like I was just like,
No,
what? It's it's fine. Like stop crying. Like she's crying all day at school, and I hated the girl too. She was a cunt. Sorry.
I wonder where she's at now.
I shouldn't have said that word.
She's in New York.
She was a bitch, but she was crying, and I was totally heartless, and I was a bad person, and
You're in 5th grade.
still,
I know.
It's crazy because I was like at the age where like there was, military recruiters coming around, and I was
really.
oh yeah, and well before that and after that, like I flew on planes like for paintball, like pretty close to that, and then I saw the change after that because I mean we legitimately used to fly with paintball guns.
What grade
No
were you
problem.
in again?
11th grade.
So let me ask you this. So yeah, I mean, you make a good point. You were right in the prime of, as far as like, hey, making a decision to go.
Dude, that's what I was just gonna say.
And I'm not knocking you for not being in the military, but paintball background. I know how you stand on things like that. Like, what were your emotions at that time? You're a junior going into your senior year, September. So going into your senior year eventually, like.
My thing was like forever. Like I thought I was gonna play paintball for the rest of my life, type thing. I was gonna. At that time, it was huge. So I never had the thought of joining the military. One of my biggest regrets, not joining the military, at least to do like a 4-year or whatever. Just because that's just kind of who I would have liked to think I was. But I had a lot of friends in high school that joined the military because of that, like instantly.
So you didn't join just because you had better opportunity.
I had way better opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, I was making money, and I was just like, what the fuck? But I remember like going to airports not that long after, and it was a different. Like, I mean, we used to walk onto planes with our paintball guns, like carry-ons.
Dude,
Yeah.
I remember crying to my mom. I'll be fully transparent. I remember crying to my mom saying, "Is my dad gonna get drafted?"
Yeah.
I was scared because obviously not a day later, but like
Yeah,
once
thinking
it's-
about it,
once
yeah.
it set in, I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, is my dad gonna get drafted? I started crying. She
Yeah.
goes, "First off, he's got a bad knee. Don't worry about it. Like, he's good." But I remember being scared.
Yeah.
I remember being
Was
scared.
Fagan already there? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
was already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was scared.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a solid probably 10 friends that joined because of that.
Yeah.
That maybe would have been military guys anyways because they were fucking rock bangers, but that definitely pushed them in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of them were, I mean,
What a crazy time. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, we read about shit in history books, and that's one of the top 5 most pivotal moments in our country's history.
oh yeah,
Easily.
And we all
Easily.
lived through
maybe
it.
number 1.
Easily.
I mean, other than
Civil War.
other than yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, Civil
Civil
War
War,
or like
Revolution.
Revolutionary War, stuff like that. But
That changed our life
From,
the way
from, a,
that
from a just moment.
well, it just made you
standpoint, that
it just
happened,
made you
like,
understand that
boom,
the United States
it's number
is
one.
not what we think it is.
we're
But try to fuck with us
penetratable.
because we're gonna come over there and we're gonna fuck with you and we're still there. Like,
And that's what I loved about our response. That aspect of it could have been changed
George
a
Bush
lo-
killed that speech.
100 different ways. You say what you want about George Bush, the way he handled the week after 9/11,
pretty
perfect.
yeah,
Throwing a strike at the World Series.
yeah. Well, and going out and just saying, we're not gonna let
Yeah,
these people. We're gonna
fuck you.
find these fucking
Fuck
people.
you. And
The whole,
that,
everything that entailed
that-
after
but
that, a big mess.
everything after
a big mess.
after
But,
that.
but I don't
they
think he. I honestly think he
concocted some
was like
bullshit,
a puppet
but
in that. Like I don't think he.
that plays into the conspiracy.
Yeah, and I think he was.
I honestly don't think it was Bush. I think it was a lot of Cheney.
Oh, and he was definitely the puppet master for sure.
I think Cheney was a
Yeah.
puppeteer.
Cheney was just killing fools on hunting trips.
Yeah. Hit our mark.
I think so.
What better way to ride out 9/11? That was a terrible.
Yeah. Chloe is definitely OJ's daughter. MJ killed his dad. The government's watching you. Aliens are real. The cure for cancer, I do believe is there.
Too many people. That's the only thing I have against that. You'd have to kill so many people to keep that silent.
Yeah. I have one that you guys can look up. This really did happen. It's a guy. He lived in Florida. He created a car that ran on water.
Ran on water, yeah.
Ran on water. He drove from Florida to California,
And
and
then
then
he
he
died,
got
right?
food poisoning and died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Who dies from food poisoning?
Nobody.
Yeah.
My only other one, Denver Airport. Look it up.
Underneath
Crazy.
Denver. Are you talking about the like
Crazy sus.
underground?
That and among a bunch of other things.
Yeah. It's like a centralized area for like New World Order kind of thing.
Yes. They
Yeah.
I like
literally
going- Denver's a nice place, though. I understand.
Exactly.
Why they go
That's why they all go there.
there.
that airport costs like $1 billion than any other airport in the nation.
Yeah. All right, boys. That was fun.
Oh, deep shit.
Fuck
We
Kevin-
barely scratched the surface.
Fuck Kevin Costner too for having sex with Cal Ripken's
No, I love that out of him.
wife. Having sex with your best friend's wife.
Well,
God and aliens, you knew this was going
Haley,
to go
what's
this
up?
way.
that was fun. I like that
I
one.
did.
Yeah. All right. If you guys have any suggestions, send them out. Good one, Sin. Way to go. Hope you like it.
Only the good ones. Don't send the bad ones.
Yeah. All right.
All right, fellas.
Have fun.
Bye.